Hello, everyone. Everybody's having a good morning. I'm sorry, my cat got in the way right as I was starting the show, like hitting the microphone and stuff. Like all my light settings are off. Let's see if I can get the right settings on here. She might come back again. She might make a return visit. All right, we'll leave it there for now. I don't think that's the right setting. It is what it is. Anyway, hope everybody's having a good Monday. I just saw you guys yesterday, but I am under the weather. I've been sneezing and coughing and having all kinds of problems all day long. Yeah, these are the new headphones. I got black and red. But I've been under the weather, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I dodged it. Like, through all of February, I dodged it. I wasn't sick with anything. And everybody around me was. Everybody else around me got really sick. I somehow managed to avoid it through all of February and most of March. And then for some reason or another, I just got hit last night. I got home from work and I felt like crap. And I was like, oh no, please don't tell me I'm coming down with something. But it seems like I am. It seems like I am coming down with something. So let's hope that it doesn't take my voice away. I have two cats. That's Nairobi. That's the small cat. So I look so disheveled. Like, I honestly, when I was preparing for tonight, I was just kind of laying around. I was drinking Gatorade, trying to feel better. So hopefully the energy levels are okay tonight. Now, the other thing is, it has been radio silent in the green room today. So I've invited everyone as usual, but no one has shown up. So, of course, the one time when I'm struggling to talk, the one time when I'm struggling to talk and I sound really congested in months, it's just me. All by my lonesome. I haven't heard anything from anybody else. So, anyway, thanks you guys for all your donations. Now that I have these new headphones, everything sounds great. How does the microphone sound for you guys? How does the mic sound? I'm curious if it still sounds okay. Let me move this over here. Everything on my desk is kind of all over the place. There we go. That's better. And we'll move this over here. Kind of get a little organized. All right. So, hold on. Let me do a goal for you guys. We'll do a small goal today. You guys were really generous over the weekend, so let's do a smaller goal. We're gonna do 5 super chats at TL or higher. Just 5 tonight. Let's do this. Poll winner. Check it. Yeah, we'll do that. And I will. Let's see. I will start up. 3Dub's available? I didn't see that. Are you available, 3Dub? Let's see. Invite. I always forget 3Dub's not in the group chat anymore. All right, here we go. Here we go. Send that over. I'm sorry I didn't read your message, 3Dub. It's a lot. I'll read it later on. Anyway. She's settled now. She's up here. She's settled. I don't want to say her name because that'll make her move around and get up. Let's see. We're going to do some fun stuff here. How about... let's do ranking. Oh, let's do. We'll do. It's a good bonus topic. Top 5 favorite. Oh, this is a good one. MCU villains. That's a good one. Top 5 favorite DC villains. All right, let's see. We got a couple people just jumped in. Lance has arrived, but I think it's Paigey. Is it Paigey with Lance's video, or is it Lance with Paigey's name?
I'm Paigey in blackface.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that sounds about right. Because
Yeah.
Paigey does. I'm pretty sure the reason why he doesn't turn his camera on is because he's sitting around in blackface and he doesn't want to have his camera on.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, anyway, we're about to start the poll though. We do have a super chat, but check it out. It has to be. And everybody was like, "Oh, well, it's a certain dollar amount." It's not. When you go to super chat, it's a teal super chat. You'll see it. It's teal. That's the color because it's different for every other country. So 5 teal super chats to reach the goal for tonight. What's up, Michael? How you doing? Thank you, Defunct. Oh my God, Gwendolyn's calling you out.
I try.
All right, 5 DC villains. Top 5 best costumes MCU. Oh, these are going to be good ones. Top 5 worst costumes MCU. All right. So these are going to be some tough ones, you guys. This is the poll. If we reach tonight's super chat goal, these will be the options we have. Why did it just show up? Look right here. Why did it show up as like a bunch of comments?
That's weird.
That's weird. Yeah, that's strange. Oh, look, Darren has popped in.
Hello.
I don't know if you guys were here earlier, but I am very sick, so my voice sounds like it's
Hope
not
you feel
good.
better.
So thank you.
You sound normal to me.
Oh well, it's the little
I'll
things.
start
I don't know if
going
that's an insult or not. I'm going to take it as not an insult, but we'll go with that.
It's not an insult, unless you
I
want
have
it to be an insult.
I'm going to rearrange my whole desk because now that I have this new setup, nothing works.
Nice mic.
Thank you. 3 Dubs actually going to have a mic like this very soon. I think he ordered almost the
black.
same exact one. So, except his is black.
Oh,
So
I
his
knew I
mic
was
is doing
influencing
blackface. Yeah. Hopefully, I'm not coughing and sneezing too much.
It would
Usually,
be
it's
black or pink. I chose the manly color.
Oh well, there you go. Darren left.
Darren just went poof.
Yeah.
You
3 Dub, when
probably
is it supposed to arrive? When is your new mic?
The
getting
30th.
there? Okay, so it's not too far away. Okay, so anyway, you guys see the goal. Vote on it. If we get 5 super chats that are teal or higher, then we will do those, whatever you guys vote for in the poll. Let's see. Quindlin says, but I'm glad I've avoided getting sick since 2019. I think I had COVID before and had a name. Who knows? It was February 2019. My immune system is good, so I haven't been sick since 2019. The last time I was super sick was COVID, which would have been like 2021, somewhere around there. Because I'm usually very good about not going out and people sneezing and coughing on me.
The best thing about being an introvert is we don't get sick.
Right, exactly. So,
Because we don't go out.
but for me, everyone around me got sick this last month, except for me. And I'm like, okay, I like that. Yeah, this is revenge. Revenge of the sickness. What's up, Anthony? How you doing? Good to see you. So I went live on Twitch last night, but the internet at the club. Okay, so here's the issue. Welcome back, Darren. The internet at the club is very bad because it's the club that I stream from uses T-Mobile, that little satellite thing you have to put on the outside of your house. I don't know what it's called, but it's like it's a
Satellite
T-Mobile
dish?
plan. Well, yeah, but it's got a name. It's like it's like a weird T-Mobile name for what it is. But you put it outside. The issue is it's okay for small things like credit card payments, turning your lights on and off and stuff like that. But for streaming, it's not very good. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to use my phone as a hotspot and just stream from my phone at work and see how that works. Because last night I tried twice and both times it disconnected me after like 30 minutes. So I gave up. But, you know, I also didn't have a lot of energy last night because I was starting to feel bad at work. So there's that. But let's go ahead and look at the super chat here. Enough of that. $2 super chat from Cameron Walker. Eric, have you read the Absolute Flash comic? Not the recent one. I do know, spoiler alert.
Bro, you missing out, bro. That comic is so dope.
I've heard, but I have heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but I have heard that Barry Allen gets yeeted in the comic. Is that true?
Yes.
See that I can't
I
can't co-sign on that. Barry's my favorite Flash.
But he's not the Flash, like at all. He doesn't have powers.
Oh, okay, so that's what it is.
He got yeeted, I guess, in an attempt to get powers.
I saw the picture of it, of him like laying dead. I was like, what?
He had on the suit and everything. My theory, he's gonna be the Absolute Universe's Reverse Flash.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be really cool then. I might check it out.
Yeah, because you know this is supposed to be Darkseid created this universe. He wanted to create a universe without hope, without optimism. You know.
Yeah.
He still ended up creating a universe that had heroes in it. Villains aren't good at this type of thing.
This sounds like a Armageddon storyline.
Basically it is. And the fact that Wally's literally only 15 and just has to like flat out be the Flash.
Now is this Wally or like Wallace? Like which one
it's Wally. It's Wally.
So it's like red hair Wally or
red hair Wally. He got like it's like the size of his head's kind of got like a mohawk situation going on.
Oh, okay.
Pierced ear. It's no speed force. So he just has super speed.
Okay, so let me tell you this. As much as I love the Speed Force, I'm glad that they're not using the Speed Force because it's so complicated that trying to start it over from the beginning and re-explaining how everything works seems like it would be a bad idea. So, so Quindolin, it is 2 hours of Daredevil this week. Like, it's legitimately a movie. So I'm really excited for it. I normally go into work to do all of the advertising stuff and everything like that tomorrow night. But because I'm feeling under the weather, I'm thinking I'm not going to go into work. I'm probably going to do it from home because I can do it remotely. So I'm not going to go into the club. So I will be able to watch it live, like as it's airing, because 2 hours, when I get home from work is when I usually watch Daredevil. So it's like 1 a.m. in the morning, and then I'm watching it after everybody's already seen it. But tomorrow night I'll be able to watch it live. So I'm kind of excited about that.
So in the club, we're all fam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
this show is impossible to discuss on YouTube. It just is. I'm sorry. The stuff that happens on it is anybody else watching it? White Lotus?
I'm behind. I've only seen the first 2 or 3.
Oh God! Thank goodness
the season.
The actual Pagey isn't here because I know he's watching it. He would start blurting out all the stuff that happened. But I love the show. It's great, White Lotus is like a murder mystery, but updated, like a modern take on what a murder mystery would be. So I like that idea. I like that it takes place at resorts. That's kind of fun. But I actually think this season is better than last season, but I think season 1 is still the best.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
I think season 2 is my favorite so far.
Is it? I like parts of season 2. There's some of the characters I didn't like in season 2. But the reason why I like this one is there's not as much overlap with the characters. Like there's a little bit, but it's not as much, where I feel like in previous seasons, all the characters have sort of intertwined together. On this one, there are people that do cross over, but they're kind of separate. So you don't really know what's going to happen. It's hard to figure out which way the show is going to go with the big surprise of who did it kind of thing. And we also don't know who it is. So that's different as well. Like a lot of times we'll know something about the person that is killed at the beginning of the season, and then we have to figure it out. On this one, we don't know who did it, and we don't know who gets killed. So I don't know. I kind of like that, but I like the show altogether anyway.
It's good, yeah.
All right. So am I lagging, Darren? Or are you?
You were a little bit, yeah. You were cutting in and out a bit.
Am I?
It's not
okay
bad
now?
or anything, but like I would just letting you know what was happening a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. Okay, I appreciate it. Now my other cat is in here bothering me. It's funny. Okay, so there you are, Aegon. Good to see you. So there's a Wally Flash suit, Cameron. Is that on Twitter? Can I look it up on Twitter?
Oh, he's talking about the one that's been in the comics for quite a while.
Oh.
The red and black. The red
Yeah,
and black one.
I have seen it, but I'll look it up because some people might not have seen it.
Mark Waid said he actually likes that, and he said he doesn't know why anybody hasn't thought about making Wally's suit different. But I think that that's a dumb statement because Wally's suit has always been different. His lightning bolt is different. He has white eyes on his suit.
So I think this is the one. This might be the one that we're talking about, right? Is it this one?
I don't know. Is he talking about the other one or is he talking about the Absolute Flash suit?
Because I know this is the concept art, but I'm trying to see. Hold on.
Because you know he has another one in main continuity as well now.
Yeah, yeah.
But this one is dope. I like it. He just took this off of. Well, it's creepy because he took this off Barry's body.
Wow, scavenger.
I don't know how he fits it, but okay.
Trying to see. Are we talking about the one? Oh gosh, there's so many of them. There's
It's the one he just got after that all in storyline to honor Barry, the one that he made. Yeah.
He said main continuity suit.
Yeah, I'm looking at
main continuity. Yeah.
I don't. Why is there? Are you talking about the one that has like the black on it? Is that the one we're talking about? So,
yeah,
like,
the ugly one.
This one right here, like this one.
Yeah, the ugly one.
Yeah, I remember seeing this one.
You can call it ugly.
Well, it's not really that. I'm thinking in my head like, I think I prefer when the Flash suits, whether it be main Flash or reverse Flash or Zoom or whatever, when it's like one color primarily. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's either all red, all yellow, all like. So I would make a suggestion. My suggestion would be give Wally a suit very similar to Barry, but make the primary color orange. Like make it like a slightly orange color or orange and red. Something that sort of pops. I think the black and red reads too much like Spider-Man to me. I mean, this doesn't look like a Spider-Man suit, but that's what my mind goes to. It's like a Spider-Man.
Looks like
what you're saying.
Firestorm design, you know, having the whole like emblem on the chest where it kind of like crossed over.
I do like the mask though. I think the mask was cool.
I don't. You haven't seen the other designs of the mask. The other designs of the mask, like the part that goes across the face, is the same material as the ear wings.
Oh, is it?
It's drawn two different ways. And the only he said he made this suit because I don't know. Don't you know Barry like doesn't have powers at all anymore, right?
Right.
So he said he made this suit to honor Barry, but I'm like, how is this honoring Barry? Barry never had black in his suit.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure. You know, it's really hard to update. Like, same thing with, I think, Superman, is it's hard to really update these suits because they're so iconic.
Unless he's negative Flash, then he has black on.
So here goes another shot of it here.
Yeah, do you think this is Speed Force generated, or do you think it's a physical suit? They never really explained it.
I think it's over-designed. It's too much going on. I like very simple, clean designs for suits.
Yeah.
So, like, unless a character is wearing literal armor, like, I can see if a suit is armor, that it's got a lot of levels and layers and stuff like that. But when your suit is, like, supposed to be, like, streamlined and spandex-type material, I just don't see the point in all of these other designs on it. You know what? I know this sounds really crazy, but if you removed the black from it and just made it gold or remove the red from it and just made it gold and black, I actually think it would look better.
That would be dope.
I think it's too much black. I think black, if you're going to use black on this suit, it has to be an accent color. It can't be the primary color.
I don't like the hands either.
Black symbolizes mourning Barry not having powers. That's interesting.
That's what he meant by honoring Barry? I want to know, how does he still have powers? Doesn't Barry generate the speed? They never explained how that works.
That's why it's good the Speed Force is gone. I know it's fun to mess around with, but they should have come up with some sort of a stand, like this is what the Speed Force is, period, and just did that with it.
Yeah, but I mean, in the main universe, it's not gone, but in the alternate and the absolute universe, it is gone. So
Yeah.
I don't. If the multiverse is supposed to be like a constant thing,
Right.
and the Speed Force is supposed to be constant throughout, that still doesn't make sense.
Okay, well, it does if the absolute universe is completely disconnected from, like, it's not even a numbered planet. It's just a completely new thing that's not even connected to the DC universe at all. But that means these characters will never cross over with the other characters if they do that. That means it's we'll never see any of these characters interact with anybody else.
It's an absolute solitude.
Unless they do a big dark side thing. War Hero, how's that a James Gunn problem? I don't get it. What?
I don't know either. Cody with the $5 super chat. This is a teal. This is the color. This is the teal. So whatever country you're in, this is the color you have to do to count. Season 1 and 2 are the only seasons with some kind of carryover. He's talking about White Lotus. I don't know.
Season
There,
3 has a character in it. Yeah.
yeah. There's a character. There's 2 characters in it that carry over.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, you're right.
But the thing about it is they're not. Up till this point, we haven't really gone over like what that means for the show. It's just been like this person did this bad thing and no one believes her, I guess. I'd like to talk more about it, but I feel like we'd be getting into spoiler. That show is too spoilery. Like everything you mention is a spoiler. So I don't want to talk too much about it. I don't want to spoil too many people with it. Anyway, all right. So we got 3 main topics tonight to talk about. The first one is I don't know if it's gonna be the first one, but the first one in the title is Elizabeth Olsen did an interview and made it seem like she's possibly done with the MCU, saying that she's not going to be in either, Doomsday or Secret Wars. We'll talk a bit about that. We also have a lot of people are saying that they believe Superman is going to copy Barbie's advertising formula. And there's also like a boycott thing for Superman. We'll get to that in a minute. That's so stupid. And Kevin Feige talking about the Russos. We have a few other smaller things to talk about as well, but those are the main topics. However, I do want to talk about this quickly. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch it or not, but has anybody else seen The Electric State yet on Netflix? No one's watched it? Okay. So tonight, we decided we were going to order in and chill out with some friends and watch this movie because we didn't want to watch it by ourselves. So we just had some people over. And it wasn't that bad. Like, I don't know if I would give it a 70. Like, if I were rating it, I wouldn't give it like a 7 out of 10. Maybe like a 6 out of 10, somewhere around there. Like, if we're looking at 71% viewer ratings or whatever. It is. It's so the name and the premise are really the only things that are the same that I can remember from the book. It's very, very different. There's a lot of comedy in it. It's a very funny movie. But it looks good. Like, you can see there was a lot of money spent on this movie. I think it was like, what, $320 million film or something like that? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Super
it was
expensive?
100. Yeah.
I mean, it was okay. I don't know how it would have done in theaters. I feel like it would have been a tough sell to theaters. But I think for Netflix, it's fine. I think it worked. They're going to have to decide if this is the kind of budget they want to put into a movie. I don't know. It seems like a lot for a streaming movie, but more power to them, I guess. But 15% is ridiculous. I don't think it actually represents 50. It takes a lot for me to score something this incredibly low, just based on competency. Because when you give something a 15%, that means you're saying that it failed in almost every regard, whether it be score, cinematography, visual effects, acting, writing, directing, editing. You're saying that it failed in almost every single thing. And I just don't think the movie did that. Like, I just don't think that it failed in all of those ways. So for me, I think that's a little weird. I also think the viewer score might be a little bit too high as well. So I don't really agree with either one of these scores. I think both of them are a little bit wrong.
One's 128 reviews and the other one's 2,500. So
Well, that's because there's not 2,500 critics.
Well, I mean, yeah, but the reason why it's so small is because there's 128. If it had 1,000, it'd probably be higher.
No. So that's why it's a percentage. Because it's a percentage of. So if you have 100 people or 1,000 people, the percentage won't matter if you're asking the same question. So that's why. Like, it's just that, again, critics are looking for things that the average viewer is not looking for. And I had fun watching it. We did have some edibles. Maybe that contributed to it a little bit. I don't know. But it was okay. I didn't have a bad time with it. I don't know if I'd suggest it to anybody. It's a 2-hour movie. So if you got 2 extra hours and you're bored, I think most people have Netflix. I would say go ahead and watch it. I'm going to ask you guys, does everybody here on the panel have Netflix?
Yes.
Yes.
Sort of.
Well, I think Netflix is kind of the one that most people have.
Sure.
Like, I would say Netflix is probably the most common one.
It's a loyalty thing. People
Yeah.
started with Netflix and people don't want to get rid of it.
I actually think when it's all said and done, Netflix will be the one left too. I think it's going to be the last one.
I agree.
So, but anyway, I thought it was okay. It wasn't fantastic. It didn't blow my mind, but I thought it was pretty good. Gosh, I sound so congested. I do apologize. All right.
Did you ever see the IMDb Snow White reviews? Like it.
So, okay, something about that. Apparently, as suspected, just like with most of these things, people were copy and pasting the same insults and giving it 1 star. So there was a lot of user reviews that were literally just copy and pasted bot people going in there and downvoting it. But this is why you can't really rely on.
I knew from the start when there was like 19,000 people on saying 1 star. I'm like,
yeah. Again, I think 1 star is an extreme score to give. I think it has to be an utter failure to give it 1 star, and very few movies are 1 star movies to me. Very few.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this first. We'll talk about this. So this is something that has been brought up. I've seen it on Reddit, and now I'm seeing people reposting it. Like, this person didn't come up with this theory. This has been something that's been talked about other places. But it says Superman is likely following the exact marketing strategy in regard to trailers that the Barbie did. Barbie teaser 1 in December, Barbie teaser 2 in April, main Barbie trailer in May, movie release in July.
But we're literally getting the main trailer in April because it's CinemaCon.
Yes.
That's
what I think.
That just makes sense.
You guys see CinemaCon's going to be pretty massive in terms of like coverage. We're going to have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
only care about one movie.
Which one?
You know, Michael Jackson. I'm going to be in full costume.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Even the nose.
That's the one everybody cares about. I think they might as well just pack it up. No other trailers, no nothing else, just Michael Jackson.
What's funny is I actually had a hunch it was going to be April when he releases the trailer anyways. Because he hasn't yet.
So does everybody think that we're going to get the main trailer at CinemaCon, or do you think we'll get an additional trailer in May that's more of like a main trailer? What do we think? Because that's what you're saying, Lance, right? That we'll get the main trailer at CinemaCon in April. Okay.
Yep. April 1st.
Maybe.
We thought he was going to do Super Bowl, and he didn't do Super Bowl. So
I never thought he was going to do Super Bowl. When the one time that WB released,
I wasn't talking about you.
No, I'm saying like that thought never crossed my mind in general when people were talking about it, because honestly, the first time that they have posted in years on the Super Bowl was The Flash. That was the only time they have posted, like they've dropped a massive trailer on the Super Bowl. They weren't going to follow suit with that because James Gunn wants to make sure that this thing is perfect. It already has enough weirdos, and if some of you weirdos are in the chat, I don't care. It has enough weirdos with hate against this movie to begin with. So, I mean,
what were you going to say, Darren, about your thoughts on it? Do you think we'll get the main trailer in April or?
Possibly. I mean, we heard that they were going to try and stick to that Barbie technique a long time ago as well, though. So I wouldn't be completely shocked if they do go with this. I don't think it's a bad plan at all. All I know is they do need to start marketing, though. Like, they need to really start pushing in these next couple months. I think there's like as big as that first trailer did, I still think there's a lot of people that are on the fence with it. I think you need to really prove what this movie's about, the whole vibe you're hitting. I think you need to convince people to go see this movie, maybe instead of some other things that are coming out that same month. Like, I think you really
That's we've talked about this before. There's
Yeah.
like 4 other things around Superman that
That'd be rough.
make it. It's good, and the thing about it is, no shade towards Superman because we all know that I love all these properties, right? So, I just think if I'm really putting it in my mind about like what I think is going to be successful, I think we're looking at Jurassic World is going to be successful. I think Fantastic Four is going to be successful. Those are the two that I think are going to be successful no matter what. Everything else is going to be fighting for that second place spot. And I think that includes Superman.
Yeah. For just reference, like I recently went through and scheduled future episodes of my show because I know that it's going to be a busy summer and I want to make sure I have everything I want to do. From May onward, all of May, June, and July, I have to do a movie review every single week because there's a big blockbuster almost every single week from the end of April on until July.
Yep.
And that's going to be another thing. There's a lot in June, right?
Yeah.
And so people are going to go a lot in June and be like, well, I spent a lot of money at the cinema in June. I'm not going to go in July, right? That's going to be a big thing as well. Like people have to pick and choose what they're going to watch.
And then you take a break in August because nothing comes out in August. It's just maybe go see Fantastic Four a second time.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I don't much watch Jurassic World, so I will probably choose Fantastic Four and Superman over Jurassic
Well, I think
World.
Jurassic World is the first one, right? Doesn't that come out before everything?
Yeah.
All of
Yep.
these?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know how I feel about money and everything. I don't care too much about it, but if I had to predict, and I know some people are skeptical about it, but I'm not. I think Jurassic World is a $1 billion movie. I think it's going to make $1 billion. Anybody disagree with me or
Did
agree
the
with
last
me
one
on
make
that?
$1 billion?
Almost all of them have made
All
$1 billion.
Jurassic
Yeah.
Worlds have. But I don't think this one will. I'm going to call it now.
Okay.
I think it's going to do really well.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be struggling. But I do think I think the reputation of the franchise has gone down a little bit. It's not as big as it used to. And it's a crowded month. I
Right.
think maybe we're looking at like an 800 million, maybe
The only
900.
advantage it has is it's the very first one.
That's
It's
true.
the first of those big movies before they start like
And
tumbling on top of each
ScarJo,
other.
right? Like ScarJo is a name people will go to the movies for. That's for sure.
yeah. Don't forget about Smurfs.
Say what you want. I think Smurfs will also do well.
I think Smurfs is going to be the kids' movie of the summer.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, because there's nothing else like in that month that's like generally just for kids. You know.
right.
What's the budget for Smurfs? Do we have the budget? I'm gonna look it up.
We didn't last time we looked at when we talked
Oh,
about
okay.
it last time. I don't think we knew.
1,700.
Really? No.
I don't know.
Rihanna would
1700.
want more than that. That's like that's just Rihanna's budget.
Let me see. Let's see about the.
I kind of hope it doesn't do well though, because man, that movie looks
It
like
was rough.
like I barely ever want movies to fail, but like I like you gotta put more effort into your movies, man.
Yeah.
All right. So this from the actual box office website. I'm kind of looking here at what it says. Wow, these are low numbers. These are like the actual, the people that predict these numbers, the analysts and stuff. Just going to tell you what it says here. So these are just domestic, though. This is just domestic numbers. They're saying that Jurassic World Rebirth domestically is looking to do $360 million domestically.
That's good.
They say worldwide they're looking at a moderate. This is a light, like they're hanging a hat on this one. 975 million, which is just shy of 1 billion.
Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch.
Okay.
They're predicting 450 million domestic.
Okay.
Just domestic numbers.
That's not bad. Yeah. That's good.
Let me drop this down here so we're not staring at this.
By the way, just really quick,
Yeah.
Jurassic World Rebirth has a budget of 265 million.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. And look, even with that budget, if it makes close to $1 billion, they're going to be fine with it.
Yeah, they're good.
So Lilo and Stitch, worldwide, they're looking at $1 billion. People are saying it's going to cross $1 billion.
Again, I think the only thing I think this might be a killer for How to Train Your Dragon, because we've talked about this. Are people going to want to go see both?
Right.
Is this something like I could see? Be like, we just saw Lilo and Stitch. We don't need to see this one too.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
The analysts are saying that Superman is looking at 350 million domestic.
Okay.
Which isn't
weekend?
bad.
Or
No, total. This is total run. Yeah. They did 350 million on opening weekend. That would be crazy.
that'd be crazy. Yeah. You're right.
But they're saying worldwide, they're looking good. They're like, I guess they have high hopes for this. They're saying 875 million worldwide.
That'd be good. That'd be a great win for them.
Yeah,
It
that's
would.
the one.
100%. I think anything north of like 600 is going to be a massive win for them. They're saying Fantastic Four, 330 million domestic. And they're shooting a little bit lower with Fantastic Four. They're saying 850 million worldwide. Yeah. I think it could potentially do $1 billion. But look, even if it does 850, Marvel will be fine with that. I don't think there's an issue with that because it's a lower budget movie. But
I don't think anything in July is going to make $1 billion, just because everyone's going to be splitting their time between all of them, right?
Yeah.
So like, I think individually these could have all been $1 billion movies,
right?
If they had less competition. Superman, Fantastic Four, even Smurfs.
If they had 4 solid weeks of no competition, they would all make $1 billion.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I got a good question. So since Fantastic Four comes out Comic-Con weekend, do you think they take the chance of not making a lot of money by airing a showing of the film at Comic-Con like they did Deadpool and Wolverine?
I don't know if are they doing that? Did they say for sure they're doing that?
No, but then again, they didn't say anything about. We didn't know they were showing the film. We didn't know they were showing Deadpool and Wolverine last year until we literally got in the room.
I don't think the amount of people that would be in that one room would affect the box office in a big way.
In Hall H?
Yeah, still. I mean, like, what is that? How many can fit in the Hall H?
A couple hundred, right?
I'm gonna see. Hold on, I want to see the exact number.
I mean, even then, like, those are also the people that will go watch it again, right? Like, those are the super nerds. They're gonna see it a second time.
Are you calling me a super nerd?
Yes. We're all super nerds.
No. So the Hall H capacity is around 6,000 people.
Jesus.
Yeah, but I still don't think that's going to affect the box office in a big way. To be honest, I don't think it will.
Especially if they don't talk.
Well, no. If they do talk, I think that's good. That means they'd be like incentivizing.
Well, I meant like go
spoiling
see
it.
Spoiling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is interesting, Darren. So, How to Train Your Dragon, they don't have a domestic number listed here, but they said worldwide it looks to be a $620 million movie.
Okay, that's not bad.
And they say the same thing for Mission Impossible, 620. But they say Mission Impossible is going to have a low domestic, which is 200.
Yeah.
Well, one of them is going to be me.
Because the last one didn't do very well, which is what
it was during COVID.
It's really funny. It's really, really funny here. So the counter to that is this is an AI in box office. It says this is what the AI has listed for these movies in the order or whatever. Number 1 this year is going to be Lilo and Stitch. They have that listed as the highest grossing movie or the summer, 1.1 billion. Jurassic World Rebirth, it has it at 1 billion. Fantastic Four First Steps, it has it 650 to 750 million. Superman is 600 to 700 billion. This is all AI numbers based on whatever criteria that this particular AI has. How to Train Your Dragon is 500 to 600 million. Thunderbolts is 450 to 600 million. Mission Impossible, it says here 400 to 600 because that movie is, I don't think it really knows, honestly, based on everything. Now, Ballerina says 250 to 300 million, so it's a low number on that.
That makes sense, though.
And Karate Kid Legacy, 250 to 300 million. Or Karate Kid Legacy.
Yes, but also that movie has a very, very low budget. Like, I think I looked it up as like 15 million or something. It's like something really low for them.
Yeah.
For me, like, I didn't know. I thought Sonic would like fail, and apparently 400 million is a success for them because the budget is so low.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why a lot of times places don't release budgets because they don't want. Look, I would say moving forward, studios don't tell us the budget.
Yeah.
Don't tell us anymore. Like, wait till the movie's been out for like a month and then drop the budget.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. You can answer his first.
Oh, wait. Cody says $5 super chat here. Thank you, Cody. I swear to God, if they show Superman next week, do you think they're gonna show an early cut of Superman at CinemaCon?
No, I don't think so.
They already said they are. They already said they are not doing that. They're already showing How to Train Your Dragon next week. James Gunn is not taking that chance.
Yeah.
But that's so. The thing about How to Train Your Dragon is unless there's something majorly different, you can't really spoil that because it's the same movie.
They told us it's like almost the same exact script. So
actually, I heard that the main character Hiccup, he's going to reveal that his name isn't actually Hiccup. His name is Bartholomew Henry Allen, and he's been the Flash this entire time.
Well,
and
there we go.
How to Train Your Dragon is secretly How to Train Your Flash, who's stuck in time, and he has to make his way back to the CW universe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Grant Gustin in disguise.
That is the crossover that we didn't know we needed. Yeah. So
it's Grant Gustin in disguise, guys. Grant Gustin in disguise. He's a phenomenal actor. How
to Train Your Dragon is actually How to Train Aragon.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Darren?
Yeah, I think there will be $3 billion movies this year.
Okay.
I think Lilo and Stitch will do it.
Okay.
I think we've already seen that. I think Zootopia 2 will reach like Moana, Inside Out 2 levels.
I want to see if you got to piss me off.
And probably Avatar.
Did you really just leave off one of the biggest films that's literally gonna break the bank this year?
Oh no! What is it?
I think it's gonna do good.
Jackson.
I don't think it'll be $1 billion. I don't think it's gonna do it. I think it's gonna be really close.
Bohemian Rhapsody did $1 billion. You don't think Michael's gonna do $1 billion?
Isn't it his nephew playing him in this movie?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
he looks just like Michael. Honestly, I saw the pictures of him. I was like, he looks so much like Michael. It's crazy.
It could make $1 billion. It could. Yeah.
I think it's gonna make $1 billion. It's gonna make $1 billion.
I mean, Darren said that Taylor Swift would make $1 billion. It didn't make $1 billion.
I did not. No, I said she could have.
What did it end up making? What did the Eras tour?
Way low than $1 billion.
Oh, did it? Was it?
They also didn't market that movie either. Like, it just kind of came out.
It was you are talking about the Eras tour like thing, right? Okay.
Oh, that.
It just kind of came out.
I thought she had a biopic. I said, who played her?
Damn! Look.
Gwendolyn, you know Michael's gonna see more than that.
That is a good point, though. Like, there is a lot of controversy for a lot of people, right? Like, that is going to be I still think it's going to do amazingly.
It's a lot of controversy for a lot of these films.
That is true. But I think Michael Jackson controversy is more well known than like a Snow White or something.
Anthony says Avatar is going to make $2 billion.
I think it's going to make $3 billion.
No.
Oh, what?
Yeah, because it was like $1 billion for the first one, $2 billion for the second one, almost $3 billion for the third one. Let's go for let's go for the full.
If a movie ever out the gate made $3 billion in their first theatrical run, that would blow minds, honestly, in 2025.
Can you pull up the bottom two comments for me? I want to address this.
This one right here.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So Gwendolyn, while I do hear what you're saying, yes, he's had way too many. They weren't official films. This is legitimately an official film. The only film that his family had a hand in was the one that aired on VH1 years ago. The others were not official films that were mostly all fabricated. And
Lance is passionate about Michael Jackson. I'm telling you.
yes, I am.
Lance.
That's one of my favorite artists of all
Do
time.
the moonwalk.
Like no, but yeah, most of that stuff was literally fabricated, and the family had no say so in that whatsoever. This film, they're not shying away from any of the allegations whatsoever. They're telling the whole story. We're gonna see everything. Even
They're gonna show the
set
Diddy
photos.
parties.
I don't. Was Diddy even doing parties back then?
Do you agree with
American Dream? The American Dream didn't show everything though. It showed up until he got burned, and that was it.
This? You agree with Zaya's comment?
Of course.
All
And
right.
he got Eddie Kendricks as his profile picture.
Did you want
right with me.
to? Did you want to address this one? Is this the other one you want to address or no?
Yes. They're not. They're gonna handle the allegations. If that sours it for some people, then so be it. Because people have been trying to sour it for years. They literally just tried to put out another documentary that had to get blocked because it's by the same dude that keeps putting out the false stories about the lawyers not realizing that they couldn't talk to somebody in the film or something.
I am disagreeing. I don't think Michael Jackson is the greatest artist of all time. I don't agree with that.
Wow. Okay.
I
What's your
have a
favorite
counter to
artist?
that. I know who I think the greatest artist of all time is. It's not Michael Jackson.
Is
Spill
it
it.
Drake?
No,
Spill it.
Kendrick Lamar.
no.
Frank Sinatra.
Prince is my favorite artist.
Oh, Prince is good. Prince is good.
You gonna counter that, Lance? Come on, are you gonna counter that?
I've
Prince
never
was
been-
also a very outspoken Christian. He would read the Bible to his girlfriend. So are you gonna
that's
blasphemy?
Not,
Is we gonna get blasphemous in here?
I've never been a fan of Prince, mainly because my father-in-law was like a huge Prince fan, and it got kind of cringy. Prince is a legend, but if I'm naming like my top like groups or artists from back in the day, it'll always be the Temptations, then Michael Jackson. It'll always be that. Like nobody's
Oh,
topping
really?
no.
Not Aretha Franklin?
No.
No Patti
The
LaBelle?
oldest
No,
artist I
Patty
like
Pies
is
are
actually
Patty Pies are. They were good when they first came out. Then it got nasty. So no.
Oh, God, I haven't had one recently, so I can't comment on that one.
Patty Pies are disgusting.
the
made me
oldest
sick.
artist.
I threw up.
What about the guy that sang for the Patty Pies? You remember that? I don't remember what his name was, but he sang for the Patty
I
Pies.
don't remember either.
You know.
The oldest
Um,
artist I like is actually Frank Sinatra.
Gwendolyn, me and you are
Frank's
going
good.
to see Michael Jackson at the same time. We going to see the Michael Jackson movie. I'm finding out where you at.
I
We're
want to
going
hear.
see
So
Michael
I want
Jackson.
when that movie comes out, we can almost guarantee that Lance's opinion of it's going to be very biased. He's going to be like, "It was the best movie I saw, 10 out of 10."
No. Eric, you know good well, I'm not biased when it comes. I'm not biased.
Yeah,
when it
you
comes
are.
to film.
Mhm.
As excited as I was for The Flash, I tore that film to shreds.
Did you? Yeah, you did. You did tear it to shreds.
I'm not
You know who
biased when
glazed
it
that
comes
film?
to film.
Paigey glazed the Flash film.
I don't know why Paigey thought that film was good. Like it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't.
He's probably watching on the sidelines right now. I'm trying to get him to come in. So Paigey would glaze that film so much, and I'm like, Paige, you know it was bad. Like the
I'm
babies
sorry.
in the
I
microwave
don't
thing
like-
or whatever.
I
Like that
don't
was
like
not
babies
good.
falling. And that whole ding just pissed me off.
Look, see, Steve knows what's up. Prince
I mean,
versus
the-
MJ. Prince all the way. That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, the baby's cooked.
Wow.
You remember his song "My Name Is Prince"? He tore Michael through and through on that one. That song just went in on Michael. You ever hear that song, Lance?
I ain't trying to hear it.
Ah, see, you've never heard it, so you don't know. You don't know. You know what? The thing I have to say though, the good thing about this is the people that run. And I don't know if it's like all of his family or if it's a board of directors, whatever. The people that run Prince's foundation that have rights for all of his stuff are awful people, because they were going to work on a Prince movie similar to this, like a documentary type film, and they wanted to cover everything, and they swooped in and were like, no, you can't do that, you can't do that. So at very least this movie is going to cover some of the controversy like that went
Yeah.
on,
It's
because
gonna
I feel like
cover
that's
the
fair.
stuff. It's gonna cover the stuff that they can cover, and they're gonna handle it better than Gwendolyn. What you're talking about is people trying to make money off the Sea Star. It's that Man in the Movie, the Man in the Mirror flex film, or that other one that had that British dude play Michael Jackson, who had a British accent throughout the entire film. That just tried to make
Well,
people. I don't know
You
how
know-
they tried to make money off of that.
I don't-
They released it on television.
I'll say we have to move on from this because we got two other topics. But I want to say this though. So Gwendolyn's probably happy that Prince's family will not let people make a movie about him, right? Right, Gwendolyn? Because I feel like there are people that feel this way. They don't want like films made about artists that have been deceased because it kind of tries to go in and ruin their legacy.
It's
So
what's even worse than that is actually them using AI to bring the dead.
oh,
back.
look, that's a whole
Yeah.
different like
I mean,
I-
I was talking about like basically as an example, Christopher Reeve.
yes. Well, not only that, but not just AI, but the hologram stuff. That's bad too. Like going in and making
Yeah.
holograms of artists and things like that. Like I'm
Well,
not.
what about the
down
Paul
with that at
Walker
all.
thing? Like what about the Paul Walker thing?
Well, the thing about that was that I don't think that was a money thing. I think that was for I don't even like. I know that they wanted to do it to have a send off in the film or whatever, but it seemed like everybody in the family was for that. I think a lot of people like the Christopher Reeve thing. I don't think that was like had the blessing of everybody in the family. So
No, they didn't know about it.
so yeah, I have an issue with that. But
That was just my whole thing with this film. I know we're moving on, but like with the once I like when they first announced it, I'm like, okay, so who's involved? Then when I heard that like the family is like literally like handling everything, I'm like, okay, cool. This isn't gonna be like those made for TV films that they suckered these actors into doing.
Yeah.
Well, I was cool.
Oh, okay, so Gwendolyn, I won't disagree with this. Look, for the most part, I went back and watched all of the Fast and Furious movies. They did get progressively worse. Like it's like over time they just got worse and worse and worse and more.
When they went
absurd.
to space.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like bad, but at the same time, it becomes unbelievable.
What's all about family 3-Dub?
Well, I
It's
mean,
all
like
about
for
family.
me, I didn't have a problem. I don't. Basically, I'm a fan of the Fast and Furious films, so it's kind of like they didn't get like progressively worse, but there are better ones than the
Right,
obviously.
the early ones were good and the later ones were bad.
Well,
so they got
not
progressively
bad.
worse.
They became like, I guess 7 out of 10 instead
Look,
of like.
I will say this. I think Fast and the Furious movies became sort of like superhero James Bond types movies, which do lean into unbelievable.
They became Bugs Bunny.
Like the first 2 or 3 of them were very much grounded movies. So yeah, like Jose says here, you can't lose if you have family. I agree. All right.
Yeah.
So is anybody following this right here? DC fans are calling for a boycott of the new Superman movie on July 11th.
AKA Cinehouse, who I finally got to block me on Twitter because I just kept cussing him out.
The funny thing about this is it says DC fans. Like, no, you mean Snyder fans.
Snyder
fans.
Yeah.
Snyder Glazers, not fans. Like Zack Snyder could spit on a sidewalk and they would frame it and say, "Oh, that's art."
Yeah. I saw this and I was like, wait, let me look into this a little bit more. And I spent most of the afternoon just kind of flipping through. It's just him saying it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's no movement about this other than the Snyder groups. That's it.
They've been trying to get this done for like months. I tell myself on July 11th we should just stay at home and watch the Snyder cut. Okay.
Fine.
Do what you want to do. Like I don't know, who cares?
And
minority.
And like here's the thing, like they're not going to stay home. Like they're going to be the people first in line for they can watch it and hate on the movie.
Right.
Those are the people that are like, they ruined Superman. It's like, all right, but you have to buy a ticket first. Have fun.
Tony's chiming in here.
I don't think they're like 100% Snyder fans either, because the fact that they probably have never seen his past movies.
Well, so they're Snyderverse fans.
Snyderverse, yeah.
Yeah.
And Cavill fans, who, by the way, Henry Cavill's not feeding into any of this. Like, I don't know why they keep throwing him into this. I see, like, it's, look, I love Man of Steel as much as, like, anybody possibly could, other than, like, the Snyder Bros, I guess. But anybody putting Cavill as their number one Superman, that's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird choice for me. Like, over some of the other ones we've had, especially Christopher. You put Cavill over Christopher? Tyler?
If they do get the Snyderverse like movies back, there's only 2 movies left in that whole like story arc. So
so the only way that will ever happen is if Warner Brothers sells DC to somebody else and they decide
Yeah.
to finish it. That's the only way that ever happens. It
And-
just is.
And like, even if there was a way for them to like finish the story, they wouldn't be happy. Like I remember people were like, nothing official or anything, but like people just being like, hey, just like curious, if they were to make like some animated movies, would you be happy? And like they were all like, no, that's how could they do that? They'd be ruining the thing.
Which is
like,
odd because that James Gunn animated thing that they did on Netflix, based on mythology, was like one of the best things he's done in a long time, and it was animated.
and if they really were Cavill fans, they would have like supported Black Adam. Like that was the last-
They don't support anything that Henry Cavill does if it's not connected to the Snyderverse. That's probably the most
yeah.
telling.
Or
thing.
even Zach, because like I know so many people were shitting on his new stuff. He's like, oh no, this should have been DC. It's like, so you never liked Snyder. You just liked this one specific thing that he likes, and if he alters from that whatsoever, then you also hate it. It's weird. It's weird.
Mhm.
Like the second that like they had taken that photo a couple months ago where it's like, oh, you know, we're working together. People were like, they ruined Zack Snyder, and it's like, all right, man. Like, come on.
All right, so we're gonna move on from this, and I wish Paigey was here for this because he always has comments about this. But there's a huge YouTube protest tomorrow. TikTokers are threatening to spam brain rot content all day long in an attempt to colonize the platform.
So
Well,
same old thing. Same old.
Pretty much. I'm curious how this is different than any other day on YouTube because there's a lot of brain rot in YouTube Shorts. So I'm not really sure what they mean by this. Also, YouTube likes this kind of stuff. So you're just benefiting Google by uploading brain rot because it's only going to help them in the end because creators don't make that much money off of shorts. I don't know how many people actually make shorts regularly. I do. And it's not a lot of money in shorts.
I use it as promotion.
What?
Yeah.
What's the point of this? I think I'm missing the point of doing something like this.
I think the thing is that a lot of people are trying to move from TikTok to YouTube and they're trying to make shorts more like TikTok. But the problem with that is most of the TikTok content has music in it, copyrighted music. And YouTube is either going to block it or mute it, or you're not going to make any money off of it.
Also, you have to upgrade your algorithm to be more like TikTok too.
You know, I have a question. Maybe other people might know this. I've only streamed in shorts mode maybe once or twice. But does YouTube come after your short streams like they do normal streams? Like if I'm on here like watching a movie that's copyrighted, they'll eventually just turn the stream off. Do they do that on shorts as well?
No, there's short policies. But even if you have short policies saying short policies, it's still copyright, so it affects your monetization.
Yes.
That's good because, like, there's such a subsection of TikTok that is just like streaming a movie or streaming
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
A TV
Spoiling
show.
movies, playing entire clips from movies that are in theaters.
Yeah. No, I mean I see just like full like 24-hour like streaming movies from their phones and stuff like that. You have to flip your phone and watch the whole movie live, and it's like that would never happen on YouTube. They would never let that happen.
I want to say this though. After streaming on Twitch last night, somebody asked me if I would ever stream on TikTok doing music and stuff because I don't have 1,000 TikTok followers, but for some reason I have live streaming abilities. I don't know how that happened. I can stream live on TikTok without 1,000 followers.
I will say like TikTok is very like hard on music. So if your music comes off as copyright, it's going to mute your entire video.
On TikTok?
Yep. That's exactly what happens with me.
Really?
Yep.
TikTok has a deal with record labels.
Like if you have it, there's certain songs like they don't have.
Yeah.
If
All right.
you come across a certain song that's copyrighted and it's not allowed on TikTok.
I will say this. I got this is crazy. I have to say this because my mind was blown. After I got done streaming and I got disconnected because of the internet, I got an email from Twitch, or no, from Streamlabs. Mm-hmm. And it said, you are now, because of something, you can now stream to TikTok through Streamlabs. And I was like, I didn't apply for it. And somebody mentioned it in my chat, and I was like, I can't do it because I don't have access to it. And then the minute I end my stream, it's like, you now have access to stream to TikTok. I was like, what? How did that happen? That was so weird. So weird. Yeah. So TikTok is full of a lot more trolls
Yeah.
in general. Yeah.
Not a troll.
So is this true? Is TikTok getting banned again? Is that happening?
No.
It's supposed the extension date ends on April 5th or 7th, but Trump has said that he's thinking about extending it more because
It's
he's
just going to
trying
keep getting
to-
extended. It's just going to
Yeah.
keep getting extended. That's what's going to happen. All right. Let's see here. We got a couple trailers to watch. There's a clip from Sinners, that new movie from Ryan Coogler. Did you guys see it yet?
No, but I'm about to hop out. I gotta be up for work in the morning.
Okay. We'll see you later, Lance.
See
Take
ya.
care.
I hope you decide to stop through Party Nation, Eric.
Wait, what time is it tomorrow that you're doing it?
5.
5
6
my
your time. It's 6 your time.
Since I'm not working tomorrow, because normally I go to work. Since I'm not working tomorrow, I might be able to stop in tomorrow.
I'm getting heart palpitations.
I won't be there, Lance. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'm announcing something big that me, Darren, and Taj are starting this week. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Hopefully, Darren changes his mind and shows up. I told him to quit his job, but he hasn't done that yet. So yeah.
Quit your job.
He wants me to be. Lance wants me to be homeless.
I've been telling Darren to quit his job for years now. He's
Hey,
still
do you actually pay rent to your parents?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
You do? Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
That's responsible.
Yeah. That's good. You know, congrats.
I respect that, Darren. But okay,
You're
I'm
like
going.
$600.
Bye.
See ya. All right. So I want to share this. This is the kind of the main topic. I do want to give you guys a shout out. We are only 3 super chats away from hitting the goal before we get into this topic. And right now, the winning poll. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be super cool about this today. If we reach the goal with 3 more super chats of teal or higher, we will do the top 2. Whatever the top 2 are, we'll do. We'll do both of those on Saturday. Top 5 favorite MCU villains is winning. Top 5 favorite DC villains is in second place. So if we reach the goal, we will do both of those or whatever the top 2 are that end up winning. All right. So last main topic, and this might spiral, which is why I saved it for the end, is from Elizabeth Olsen. Now, we know that I just mentioned this yesterday, that Scarlet Witch is one of my favorite characters. So this kind of hit me like a brick in my face. Elizabeth Olsen says she'll not appear in the upcoming Avengers movies. I'm moving on to filming a pilot for FX. And this came from the interview that she did with The Hollywood Reporter. Now, before we read the segment of the interview, it's like one paragraph. Before we read that, just general question, and chat, you guys can chime in too, as always. Do we believe this? Do we believe she's not going to be in either one of these movies? Or do we think this is a Andrew Garfield thing, cover-up thing?
She can't say.
Well, I know she can't. I know she can't say yes, but she doesn't have to say no.
It's the easiest way to be like, to cover her butt.
Which is why are you leaning towards her trying to cover up that she's in the movies? Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying? Okay.
You know what? I believe it. For some reason, I feel like she hasn't been one that actively has lied in the past. Not saying she wouldn't. But she seems very like a very genuine person. She's just like, yeah, I don't know, you know. But also, they've said recently that they don't even know the full roster of Avengers 5 and 6 yet. So it could be possible next week they send her like an email and like, hey, we have a role for you.
We're gonna give you, $20 million to show up in these movies or something like that. Yeah.
What's more surprising to me is like what I'd be more curious about is not necessarily Avengers 5 and 6, but Vision Quest. Vision Quest films next year.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if we don't at least get like a flashback scene or something.
Right.
From the end of Multiverse Madness, from Agatha, it always felt like the plan was to slowly bring her back, was to build up to her revival. It was even rumored and nothing confirmed because it was not even officially a project.
Go ahead?
I have a theory too because it's Doom. It's a Doom World profit different iterations of characters. I think they're going to bring her back as a mutant. not a enhanced individual.
Well, what? Excuse me. Wanda being a mutant has been changed multiple times in the comic
Yeah.
books.
Well, I mean, it would be something new from the MCU
Well,
because she was always an enhanced individual.
it would, but I have another theory: is they could bring her back as a different person because we are getting like
Could.
incursions. So
Yeah.
we could get Scarlet
Polaris.
Witch back, and it could be a different actress.
She could be Polaris.
I will
too.
tell you, people would be pissed if
They would be.
if Scarlet Witch showed up and it's like it's Sadie Sink is Scarlet
Right.
Witch. It'd be like no.
Well, so first of all, I think if they bring her back, she's going to be a lot younger. They're going to come up with
Yeah.
some sort of storyline about her being reborn or whatever. But you can't be. But look, I think that the situation is if Elizabeth truly doesn't want to come back, their hands are tied. They have to recast the character if they're going to use her again. And I don't think people want to see Scarlet Witch go away.
Yeah.
So I would love for her to come back for Elizabeth to come back as Scarlet Witch because I do love her in this role. But they could also do a casting of someone that is more in line with like who Scarlet Witch is from the comics,
yeah.
like from an ethnic background and all of that.
Right.
They could actually go to that point if they wanted to. Will they do it? Am I giving Marvel too much credit? Yes, probably. They're probably just
Yeah.
going to cast another.
Like she dropped
Random
her
person,
accent like fast.
I don't think we're recasting. I think she's honestly one of them that will be safe because I think she's one of honestly their icons in the last Phase 4 and 5. Like, I think she's one of them that fans are like, yeah, I will show up when she shows up. And especially when we're going into Phase 7, 8, and 9, which will be the mutant saga, I agree with 3 Dubs. I think they will make her a mutant. I think we will do the full Magneto, Quicksilver,
Right.
Scarlet Witch thing. I would not be shocked if they bring back Evan Peters and have it be officially they are siblings in the new MCU timeline and have Magneto. I think she's not that old of an actress, right? She's in her early 40s, late
I think
30s.
so. Yeah, let me double check. I think you're right. Let's see.
She could do this for a while longer, especially if we're going for a old Magneto, right? Like you could have
She's not even in her 40s. She's 36 years old.
She's fine. Unless she wants to go do other stuff, unless she
Okay.
wants to exit.
So that was the next thing I want to bring up. So in this interview with Hollywood Reporter, she had this part here to say.
Okay.
I didn't realize this until about 6 years ago, but because Marvel and its influences take up so much physical time and space in the world, it's really important for me to make choices outside of Marvel that reflect my own taste.
Okay.
Your taste does create the artist that you are, and that wasn't something I was thinking about when I first started working. So the opportunity to return to films like The Assessment is a reflection of the people I want to work with in my own personal taste. So this is why I'm saying she could be 100% genuine on what happens with Marvel. So my question is, if this is the way she feels and she doesn't want to come back to Marvel, do we move on without Scarlet Witch or do we recast Scarlet Witch?
I think we recast. In that case, I think we
No, it's not like I wouldn't say a recast, more like a reset after Secret Wars, because you can technically recast everyone, but it's a reset. It's not generally a recast.
I'm pulling back a little bit on my opinion on that. I don't think we're going to see as many recastings as we think we're going to see. I think we might see sort of what you're saying, 3Dub, like a reset of characters where some will be recast, but a lot of them will just be who they are. Like a good example is, I think we see Sam as Captain America still, but they try to get Chris Evans to come back.
Yeah.
So we have 2 Captain Americas. That's what I think we're going to see. Stuff like that.
Well, here's a fun question then. Like, what are some character choices you would like to now redo if we are doing a reset? Like what are some things you would change?
Well, obviously, I want another T'Challa. I want to see Black Panther back again.
Okay.
I like Chadwick, and I won't mind if they make it so his son is like the next Black Panther. But I think for me as a viewer, I feel comfortable like bringing in another T'Challa. I think that's at this point, especially if it's a multiversal version that just comes in after the incursions. I think I'm fine with that. But I love Chadwick. Like, it's so hard for me to see anybody else as that character. That's the rough part for me. Only because I think he embodied T'Challa and Black Panther. We'll see. We'll see where we go with that. But like, there's a few things that I think we could do to sort of streamline the movies a bit, and that would be go in and clean up a lot of the loose ends that we might have had. For example, as much as I love where we ended up when it comes to characters like the Hulk and stuff, we could start fresh.
Yeah,
start
that's the
fresh
big
with
one.
Hulk.
Yeah.
I don't like the Hulk design to begin with. Ticket is still like I got used to it, but at the same time, I like the brawling type from Incredible Hulk over
Right.
Mark Ruffalo's.
I think it'd be fun, and they wouldn't do this just like from a marketing standpoint. It's had so much bad press. I think it'd be really funny to remake Secret Invasion. I think it'd be so funny to do it again. Do like
Make it
Avengers
worse?
Secret Invasion or whatever.
Yeah. I think the big glaring one for me is Hulk. I think that's the biggest one.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the rough one. Also, I think, gosh, thinking back here, there's some random stuff here and there that I think could use a little work, and that's like some of the damage that Taika Waititi's Love and Thunder did to the MCU. Oddly enough, Secret Invasion, I think getting rid of that whole thing can go. Yeah. So Rhodey is just Rhodey. There was no Skrull situation with him, and everything that he went through stays the same.
Sure.
You know, things like that.
What would be funny is having both Rhodey's show up in Secret Wars.
That would be funny.
That would be funny, actually.
You could do the same with Hulk too.
Yeah.
Because he said next time, baby.
Yeah.
His version of next time will be Secret Wars.
Right. Yeah, I would say the big one for me, like if they could only fix one thing, I think I'm good with Hulk.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of Hulk fans would appreciate them going back to the drawing board with that and fixing Hulk.
But only do that if they can commit, right? Like I don't want a world where like you bring back the Hulk people want, and then you still can't use him in a big way. Like I think a lot of the issues are not their fault because they just couldn't have him like in their universe. It's not 100% their fault,
right?
But maybe if we can make a deal, can like a Universal like, hey, we want to do like one last Hulk movie. Can you let us do this? Blah blah blah. We'll give you all this money. Blah blah blah. And then do that, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah,
I seriously think that like every the characters that we couldn't have from the Fox universe, now that we can have them, are not going to be musicians in the 60s. Because remember when Doctor Strange was like, "Didn't you guys chart in the 60s?" Where
you're talking about with the Illuminati thing or whatever?
Yeah, Fantastic Four. He was quoting them. He's like, "Didn't you guys chart in the 60s? What if the X-Men charted in the 60s or whenever they premiered in the comics?"
Before I read the next couple super chats, I want to mention, and this might be a hot take, maybe not, but we talked about how many people love Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda. I'd like to think, I don't have any proof of this is just me saying it, but I would like to think that the success of Multiverse of Madness had a lot to do with Wanda.
I agree. Yeah.
She's the only villain who actually got what she wanted.
She's had look, I know people say that there was some dragging over of stuff from WandaVision into Multiverse of Madness, but that aside, I think Wanda's had one of the best character arcs in the MCU, personally. Because I think she had so many ups and downs. She had struggles. She had a real good backstory. I think WandaVision really expanded on how we understood her character.
And the level of power she has. She's the only villain who actually won the fight.
Yeah.
Well, aside for Thanos, because he had 2 movies, but he still lost. But one is the only one that actually won in a single movie. And got what she wanted.
Though? Like,
yeah, she got to see her kids. Chavez just opened the gate for her.
I actually think that she sacrificed herself to save everybody. That was kind of how that movie ended. Like, it wasn't really a winning; it was a sacrificing of herself, I believe.
Yeah,
her whole point was to see her kids.
Yeah, but I don't think she wanted to
that.
I don't think she just wanted to see her. I think she wanted to have her kids. Like, I think she wanted to have a life with them. she saw the path where she was about to win, but
And the only reason she even did what she did is because she had another version of herself saying they'd be loved and cared for, and then she was like, "Okay, I'm good with this." Like,
yeah.
she moved on. All right, so where we go right here. Okay, Lone Wolf here with the $5 super chat. Does the YouTube making bots place ads in your video affects you too? I heard Boba talking about it and he was pissed. So was Heavy Spoilers. Does the
You mean
YouTube
Civil
making
War, not
bots
Avengers 2?
place ads in your video affect you too? I heard Boba talking about it. He's pissed. So, are you talking about the update to YouTube's ad system? I think Paige and I talked about that briefly. I never ever manually place ads. I turn on monetization and then I let YouTube do it. So this has no effect on me whatsoever. It only really affects people who go through and manually place ads in their videos. So like if you're someone that makes a 15-minute video, 20-minute video, you can put like 5 ads in it. You can put 6 ads in it. You can put 10 ads in it, right? What YouTube is doing is they're using their, I guess, algorithmic AI system or whatever to determine where you can make the most money by placing the ads for you, except it's no longer optional. That's what a lot of people are mad about. Like, you can't say no. So a good example is a couple weeks ago when you guys came into the stream, you were saying you were getting ads, right? That was turned on automatically for me. I didn't do that. I had to go in and figure out a way to turn that off because it was one of those features that YouTube was like, hey, we're just turning this on. So I understand if that pisses people off or makes them mad. But in terms of like the actual videos you make, not live streams, but videos, if you're somebody that goes in and puts your own ads in at certain spots, it will affect your content. Doesn't really affect me because I never do that. So it doesn't bother me too much. We'll see. I am hoping that we'll actually increase the revenue output from YouTube because creators get screwed over by YouTube and Twitch and all these other sites with monetization. So I'm hoping it helps me, but I don't really know for sure if it is until after I see it implemented.
I always select it off for, YouTube to, not put ads in my videos.
Yeah. Cameron with $2 super chat. Eric, have you seen the Supergirl set leak? I saw a picture of it, but I didn't see anything. Has anybody else seen this?
Mm-mm.
I saw it, like, I had it bookmarked, but then I looked at it and it didn't look. Let me double check. I didn't really see anything in the picture. Let me go.
I saw the leaks for another comic book project, but not Supergirl.
Let me see. Where is it at? Is it? I think it's in a YouTube video. Hold on, let me. Click through. All right. I don't know if I can use this or not. It's also just a picture of the set. It's nothing. It's not worth it, honestly, to share it. It's just a set. It's like a. It looks like a futuristic basketball field, basically.
Mm-hmm.
If it were a costume or something, I'd probably risk it and be like, "Let's look at it." But
they've been doing a good job keeping their sets like locked down
Yeah.
and stuff. Like we
I
saw
think-
nothing from Peacemaker. We didn't see much. We saw a little bit of Superman,
Right.
but not much.
Yeah.
Nothing from Supergirl.
I think James Gunn has basically started using studios instead of filming in
Yeah.
the open because
Yeah.
you can keep it contained.
So Boba said it can affect his money because of the format he does. He was concerned he might have to get a 9-to-5 job. So that's unfortunate. I don't really know how that's going to affect some of the other channels. So Boba's format is very different from my format, right? I primarily live stream on this channel. I do upload clips and videos from time to time, but this is primarily I live stream 2 to 3 times a week. So the changes to YouTube's ad revenue system don't affect me much because you guys are good at supporting the channel with memberships and super chats and stuff like that. So that format, it doesn't, on paper, it doesn't look like it's going to affect my channel too much. But if you're somebody that does essay videos, like you do 25, 30-minute videos where you have to look up a lot of information, use a lot of news sources, pictures. 3W, you know how editing goes. It takes a while to edit a really long video, especially a 30-minute video. If you're doing something like that and you're not seeing the return on that because of YouTube, I can understand how it would piss people off. And I think Heavy Spoilers also does videos like that as well.
Yes.
So I can understand why that's a problem. YouTube is shifting. What I can tell you right now what YouTube wants, okay? YouTube wants, and this is only for individual creators, right? So people like me, people like Darren, 3Dub, Boba, people that are kind of doing this as a hobby / low money income type thing, right? Boba has been very well received by YouTube for a long time. He gets promoted quite a bit on YouTube. His videos have done really well. His channel's really blown up. But what's happening here is YouTube is moving into a space where they want podcasts. Podcasts make a lot of money. And you know what else makes money? Clips from podcasts. So basically taking out 5 to 10 minutes of a podcast, uploading it as a clip. It doesn't require a lot of work. It's very low effort stuff. You see a lot of channels like myself. I can do that because it saves me time. I get content out for you guys, and I don't have to do a lot of editing.
Yeah.
YouTube is moving away from those 25 to 30 minute videos. So either you're making documentary things like 45-minute, 1 hour videos, or you're podcasting, or YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
That's what they want. So a lot of people that were doing, like, this is why I tell you guys the review videos, they don't, those days, like if you're reviewing a movie, fair enough, but like reviewing episodes, if you're trying to grow your channel, YouTube doesn't care about that anymore. Back around 2018, 2019, they changed their format so that actual like review videos were not being pushed forward anymore. They got rid of it completely. Paige and I talked about it. They got rid of it completely. They got rid of that particular part of the algorithm that promotes review channels. And the reason why they did it is because clip channels started showing up. And clip channels were uploading 5-10 minutes of an episode of TV just directly to their channel as a clip. If you guys don't, and I know 3Dub, you probably remember because you were doing a lot of like music videos and stuff. But when there was a period of time where Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, whatever, you could watch the whole episode in segments from channels here on YouTube. You could just go to the channel and watch the whole episode within an hour of the episode being up on the CW. They would just upload it in clips and chunks.
There was a time where crack videos is a type. By the way, crack videos are a type of humor edit.
Right.
They were very popular in
Right.
back in the day. Now it's being phased out.
Yeah. YouTube's getting away from that because it was a logistical copyright nightmare for them. So they couldn't crack down on it enough. So what they did is they just said, you know what? We're not seeing a ton of channels reviewing TV shows, especially CW shows. So we're removing that from the algorithm. So that disappeared. So then you had people like Boba very smartly moved into doing content based on movies and stuff. He got pushed into the algorithm by YouTube. They saw value in his content. And they're like, yeah, there we go. We're going to leave him there. Now, 5 years later, YouTube is like, more money. There's more money in podcasting. There's more money in longer form content. There's more money in shorter form content. So if you're doing stuff between 5 and 30 minutes, that's like editorial style, they have no interest in that content. They don't want that anymore. YouTube is now the #1 video streaming app for TVs, which means people are sitting down and watching YouTube as a source of television.
Yeah, you're right.
Those shorter videos don't do it anymore. They want longer videos.
Which is why we're seeing, and this goes off on a tangent, but we're seeing so many individual YouTubers be like, I'm going to launch my own streaming service. I'm going to launch my own thing.
Right.
Like Patreon was such a big thing because, like, people want the longer form content. And you're right. Like, it very much is, hey, I'm going to sit down for an hour and watch a video, or I'm there for 30 seconds. Tell me what I need to know right now. There's that in-between spot's gone.
Yeah.
You're right.
And you can look at I can guarantee if you're a YouTuber doing that kind of content, you go in and you look at your analytics, there's a sharp drop off around the 3-minute mark for most people.
Yeah.
It's a sharp drop off. And the reason why is typically people that are watching your videos, where they tune in, like for example, okay, so let me give you guys an example of a video style that worked back in 2016. You click on the video at the very beginning of the video, the first minute of the video would be you sort of, hey, make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're really interested in my content, blah, 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 whatever. And in today's video, we're going to go over this, that. So you spend the first minute sort of just explaining what you're going to be talking about in the video. And then, and Emergency Awesome is look, people like Charlie, but Charlie fell into this, where it's like you tell them whatever it is that you're talking about in the first like 3 minutes, and then you spend the next 7 minutes filling that in with unrelated stuff or stuff that just doesn't even really matter. And they did that because they want to get that second ad. If you make a video shorter than 8 minutes, you only get one mid-roll ad.
Yeah.
So every video needed to be 8 minutes and 1 second long. I never cared about that. If I could cover everything I needed to cover in 7 minutes, I cover it in 7 minutes. But a lot of people need to get to that 8 minute and 1 second mark so they can get that second mid-roll ad. And they make a lot of money doing that. And everybody fell into that trap for a long time, and YouTube knows about that. For example, what we're doing right now, sitting here chatting for like 2 hours, this is the singular most popular content on YouTube next to the big studio stuff. Yeah. YouTube is the #1 place for podcasts now. People come to YouTube to listen to podcasting. Yeah. That's why they're here. Because you're sitting around interacting with people. The days of like watching a video and getting no interaction, most channels now can't survive on that. People want to come in. I like live streaming. I prefer live streaming over making videos.
Yeah.
I don't like sitting around editing. 3Dub does. I don't like doing that. So if you want somebody to edit, go check out 3Dub's website. He'll do it for you for a small fee. But yeah, so good. But like, I don't like doing that. I'm more of a live stream person. I do better live. I've always done better live. I left YouTube to go to a live streaming website back in 2011 before I came back to do movie and TV reviews and stuff. So, what is that, Naruto here? Eric, do you remember when the Flash released videos called Flash 4s where they show the entire episode? Yes, I remember that. Yes, I do remember those. But look, the landscape of... What are you saying, dear? Sorry.
This had so many spoilers. People would like pause, slow down, like review frame by frame every shot.
I miss the era of doing like rant reviews and theory videos and speculation videos. Those days, unfortunately, if you're trying... Look, you can still make them. YouTube's not going to like ban you for doing it. But if you're somebody that uses YouTube as your primary source of income, if this is your job and this is the only way you make money, you have to change it up. You have to stream more often. You have to do more clips. You have to do shorts. That's the only way to survive on YouTube like this anymore.
Sure. Or like, I think reaction channels are kind of the only kind of like in between at the moment.
That's a good point. I think you're right.
Yeah.
But reaction channels also can be pared down into short videos. I think that's the reason why is that's like true. They can upload those to TikTok and shorts and stuff like that. Look, I will say this. The YouTube shorts going up to 3 minutes is a little long. I think. I don't know if I understand why they did it, but I typically think the sweet spot for me on a short is like 1 minute and 30 seconds. I think that's like where I would.
I'm still glad that I found like a fan base that likes tributes, because that's my audience.
Right. But see, but the other thing, 3Dub, is you're not trying to make a living off of YouTube. That's the big difference. Like, if you were somebody like I do YouTube because I enjoy it. And I told you guys, whatever money I make from YouTube goes to keep my YouTube channel going. It justifies me being able to sit here and chat with you guys when I could be doing other work. You know what I mean? Like, I like doing this. So you guys keep all of that afloat. Everything you give me, all these upgrades I get, come from you guys helping support the channel. That's why I do it. Some people use YouTube as their primary source of income. I could never do that. I don't see a path for me to do that.
Let me just actually like take back what I just said though, where I said like reactions are the sweet spot. But the more I thought about it, like most reaction channels now, like these videos are about an hour. Like I just went on like the Real Rejects channel, 1:40, 2:30, 1:13, 1:35.
Are they doing a lot of pausing and talking? Is what it is.
I think it's because they like end their videos like talking about the movie and breaking it down and what they thought. Yeah. So it ends up being a whole hour, 2 hours, which is like you said, that a long video.
So what I've noticed with reactors is they spend 40 minutes with the actual episode or movie.
Yeah.
And each like 5 seconds they have a full screen and they go back to the episode in full screen.
I think that's a way. It's also a way to get around copyright, right? I think they're doing that,
yes,
so.
that's basically a trick. And then what they're doing is they're spending 10 minutes talking about the film at the end, and there's like 10 minutes intro, 10 to 2 minute intro.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for the super chat. I'm sorry I kind of went off on a tangent there, but But I do think it's important to understand YouTube's ecosystem. Like, look, the thing about it is I've been doing YouTube since 2007. So I've seen all of its ups and downs. I know that it's very weird about the way it does stuff. I feel bad for channels like Boba and Heavy Spoilers because what they're going to have to do, essentially to survive, is make longer videos.
Yeah. And I've
That's the
even
reality.
seen like some of those channels, like New Rock Stars, I think I've seen which have dabbled into like the reaction space because they know those are the kind of things you could put into your TikToks, your YouTube Shorts, stuff like that. So you're definitely right, and I feel like you have to have a very specific kind of template to survive in that world because there's a lot of channels that still do like commentary and stuff like that, but most of them are massive, like several millions. And stuff like that.
Well, channels like that just are going to survive because they're so big, right? But if you think about it, it all goes back, and I think basically what this all streams back to is YouTube is beating traditional streaming.
You're right.
Platforms. They want more creators creating content that can be put into a playlist and you can watch it like a season of a TV show.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
So, like, ideally, I would pick a topic and then I would talk about that topic for 45 minutes to an hour, and that would be episode 1. And then I'd do another topic, that would be episode 2. Which I need to be way more organized to do that. I'm clearly not organized enough to do that. But if I could, that's what they're looking to do. So, like, if you go back and you look at my Arrowverse videos where I was doing the history of the Arrowverse, those were 20-minute videos. That would not fly. YouTube wouldn't care about those. They wouldn't get the right kind of monetization. I would have to turn them into 45-minute. They'd have to be as long as an episode of TV, essentially. Well, Mr. Beast is outside of that bubble. There's channels that are outside of that bubble, right? So, like, anybody that is above, if your channel is above 1 million subs, unless you're employing like a bunch of people, and I mean like a full team of people,
right,
you're not going to see much change in that.
Also,
well, go ahead.
Also, if you have like 7 years of history with YouTube and on good terms, they usually will. At my previous channel, would get like 10K views each video. Because they keep pushing out.
It's not really this situation doesn't affect views. It's about the ad placement in the videos. So that's really what it's about. But I understand what you're saying as well. But Mr. Beast has like what? I just looked, 370 some million subscribers. This is not going to affect him at all.
Right.
Plus he's got a show on Amazon. I mean, like there's a lot of things going on with him. But yeah, I would say that. Heavy Spoilers. How many subs did they have? I'm curious.
They're in the million, I think.
His ad on Facebook irks me, by the way.
Who, Mr. Beast?
Yeah.
I don't watch any Mr. Beast.
He's like,
content.
I'm giving you money if you play my game. I'm like, no, you're not.
Heavy Spoiler says 1.5.
Yeah. So I don't know how it's going to affect them. I'm assuming they probably employ a team of people.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to cut down their team size, which is going to put them. So the thing is, this is the YouTube game. As your channel grows, you have to start getting people to do things for you to keep the content flowing. And it just grows and grows and grows and grows. A good example is like Philip DeFranco. Philip DeFranco started out, or Philly D, whatever you want to call him, started out doing what I'm doing. We started on YouTube at the same time, doing commentary videos, right? Sitting here chatting about stuff. He started doing news stuff, and then it grew and grew and grew. He was doing daily news. You as an individual person, and this is just the reality of it, you cannot sustain that type of momentum by yourself. Like, I could get on, I can get on every day, say, for example, Monday through Thursday, jump on here every day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, by myself, talking about news stories. Okay? But then I would reach a point where I would cap out on that. You'd get 10,000 subs doing that, right? And then it just slows down. Then I have to be, okay, I need to do clips for my videos to get more subs. So that adds an additional layer of work on top of it. Yeah. Then I have to start clipping my channel. And then you'd cap out around 20,000 subs. And you're like, oh, I'm not growing anymore. I need to do shorts. Okay? Gain another 20, 30,000 subscribers. Each time you reach a cap, you have to like do something new. And you start spreading yourself thin. So essentially you become the talent and everybody else becomes like the people behind the scenes doing stuff for you. Editing, writing scripts, doing your thumbnails, all of those things just add up. You have to have a team.
Yeah.
And when YouTube decides that, hey, we're switching the algorithm, we're switching the AdSense, we're switching the way your ads are placed or whatever, all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, now we have to downsize again because you have to learn the game all over again.
Yeah.
It's like a brand new thing. Anyway, I could do a whole video explaining YouTube to everybody because the thing is, I don't have the same principles, I guess, when it comes to making YouTube a primary thing for me. Like, I would have to invest a lot more time, and I just don't have it. I run my own business outside of YouTube, and it's just impossible for me. Plus, I'm happy. I think, Darren, we talked about this back a while ago. I am very happy where I am on YouTube. I'm very happy with all the guys that are here chatting with us tonight. I'm very happy with the people that come into the streams with me. You guys are so great to me. When I say you guys, I mean like the people tipping with super chats and the people who are channel members and stuff. I am so thankful to even have what I have now with the amount of work that I can do, that I have no complaints for me. There's no complaints. No. I'm not a very religious person, but I would say I'm very blessed to have the support that I have on YouTube, if that makes any sense.
I think you have a great happy medium because, I would hate to have a channel with 1 million subs and then you're not having a genuine conversation with any of them. Here, I feel like I know Gwendolyn, I feel like I know Lone Wolf and Dark Zen because I see them in the chat every time. We get to talk with them. They send us their questions. We get to have a genuine conversation with that. Mr. Beast is not having that. He's not having a genuine conversation with any of his people. And
he's probably not even reading the comments on his videos. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he's not reading anything. So, yeah, it makes a difference. Yeah. Anyway, Quinlan says, I still feel like you should have more subs. I love your channel, at least 100K. Look, Quinlan, I would be lying if I say I don't think about that once in a while, because there's a lot of channels around me that I have platformed over the years that grew to 100K. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why am I not getting there? And I realize that my channel has just been around for a very long time. It's just, you have to start, YouTube gets to a point where if you've got a channel that's been around forever, they just stop promoting you. They're like, we're not going to promote you anymore, I would love to see more subs come up because it does validate sort of the work you're putting in, but I'm not out here, I'm not advocating for that. Like, I'm not pushing hard for that. Like, honestly, if I were doing 3 videos a day, every day, like, comic book cast or something like that, I could probably grow the channel in that way. But I'm very happy just doing this. And this is fun, But I appreciate you saying that. I feel like I should have more subs too, but I'm very happy with the people that are here. So, were you going to say something, Darren? Sorry, I thought you were going to say something. No. When you pull up like that, I was like, I didn't want to interrupt you. Anyway, all right, so we have one more topic to talk about, and we are... Speaking of super chats, we're 2 super chats away from reaching the goal. So that's 2 teal super chats. So if anybody's been waiting to super chat and you want to support, now would be the time to do it. And we can answer your questions. Because you just saw I spent 25 minutes talking about one super chat. So what I'm going to tell you there. All right. Anyway. All right. So let's go here. This is the last official topic, which this comes from Daniel RPK. And I thought it was interesting. So... It says here, Kevin Feige is reportedly concerned about the Russo brothers directing the upcoming Avenger films following the Electric State. He plans to closely oversee the project, ensuring the script is just right and everything stays on track. Anybody have any thoughts on this one? Any opinions about this? Because I have my feelings, but I want to give you guys a shot.
I mean, this is a conversation I've had for a while, where when it comes to directing MCU movies, you're not really directing it, not in the way that you would like some of your solo Russo Brothers outings, right? Mm-hmm. When it comes to Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, I feel like there's always a layer of, they're the ones directing, but there's always somewhere on the higher up kind of deciding what's actually happening. We've seen that a lot with Marvel. And I think people have been kind of realizing maybe that's what's happened with the Russos, where yes, they were the ones directing, but how much of that work was from Kevin and, the CEOs and all that stuff when it comes to Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, stuff like that? How much of it was them and how much of them it is the higher-ups? And how much of it is more of a mascot to say, hey, this big director's doing our movie. This is great. But were they really doing the movie? So... not to say they're not putting in work. I'm not saying that, but I think it's more of a collaborative process at hand instead of like something like the Electro State, what they probably had more creative control over.
Right.
I don't think he's reconsidering. I think that's probably BS, but I would not be shocked if he's keeping a very tight leash on the Avengers movies, which they would be doing anyway. Like, you could
Absolutely.
cast Quentin Tarantino and Kevin Feige would still have a very tight leash on Avengers and stuff like that.
Yeah. 3Dub, any thoughts on this?
With any big projects, I think the person that's controlling should have some like sway in what you can do. Basically, as an example, you don't want Love and Thunder for
Right.
Avengers film.
That's a really good point. I was actually going to bring that up in my comments about this. Was if you look at the Russo brothers, maybe it's a Taika Waititi situation where they left Marvel to go do their own little things, and it's become like a overindulgent thing. I will say this: there's some artists who you can kind of just let them go, and they're going to give you something, and it's going to be great. You know, there's other artists like I know several of them in my own life, and in a lot of ways myself as well, where you need someone to sort of help funnel where the energy goes and what the important parts are. So for me, it's quite possible the Russo brothers are great directors, but but you get the best out of them under the right people. Like Kevin Feige is capable of looking at what they have to offer and going, okay, A, B, C, A and B are working, C is not. So let's push more into A and B and just we'll put C to the side. And this kind of goes back to what you were saying, Darren, is maybe Kevin Feige is sort of the secret portion of the sauce that makes this all work for them. Now, I'm not saying they're not talented, because clearly they are. They're capable of doing the jobs. But let me add a little bit more to this. I think that Kevin Feige was stretched so thin over the years with the changes with Bob Chapek back into Bob Iger.
Yep.
That this might be him saying, look, I'm present. I'm here. I'm overseeing this project.
Yeah.
I want to make it the best thing it can be. Because I still believe these are $2 billion movies. Regardless, I think both of them do $1 billion easily. I think that the quality of the movie, outside of the financial success, is going to sort of hang on whether or not Feige is there to make sure this all works. Yeah. I would also say that some of the issues that Marvel has had, we might have understated how much Kevin Feige contributed to the success of some of these projects. You know,
and it's also like you have to think about like Kevin Feige sees the bigger picture, where a director sees what's in front of him.
Sure.
And that for Kevin Feige to not be stretched so thin, he needs someone who sees the bigger picture, like him, who can oversee projects while he's overseeing other projects.
Yeah, and I think you make a really good point about that, though, Eric, where it's like there was a promise about more quality, more quality, less quantity, right? That was a thing they put in place. And I think now that Captain America's out, we're starting to see that a little bit. There's not a lot of big Marvel stuff they are currently in the works they're really focusing on. There's Vision Quest, there's Daredevil, and there's this. 2 of those are TV shows. They're only really working on 1 major movie right now. Or I guess 2 if you count Avengers 5, right?
Right.
Or Avengers 6, I mean, right? So you're right. Kevin is able to be like, okay, my undivided attention. This is the thing. And by the way, it has to be good. If Avengers comes out and it's bad, I think that's kind of it for Marvel for a while.
Until the X-Men come out. I think that's really it. The Avengers brand might be tarnished forever if this doesn't work.
Even then, like, I think Avengers has always kind of been the, like, golden goose for Marvel. Like that is why people watch Marvel movies, is to see, at least in this current era, is to see what it all builds up to. That is the point. Right. And if people lose interest in that portion of it, it's hard to bring that back. I think you have to take a break after that, if that fails.
It kind of just came to me that this is Avengers is the first franchise in the superhero genre to ever get 6 movies, let alone 3, let alone 4. Basically,
X-Men got a ton of movies.
Yeah.
Well, I meant like
Superman. Batman?
sequel, like basically X-Men 1, 2, and 3 were Last Man Standing. Those were like a trilogy.
But they all
And then
combined together with
but
Days of Future Past.
they combine together, but they're separate in the aspect of trilogy.
So you're saying something that started in the same universe has always been the same?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the original Superman's had like what, 5 films?
No, 4.
4.
I mean, do we count the Brandon Routh movie as one? Because that was technically a...
No, I don't count. I've always said this. Like, once you change actors, it's another universe for me.
No.
Cody with the $5 super chat.
I can't say like Brandon Routh is Christopher Reeve. It's not going to happen.
Everything the Russos has done post Endgame has all been bad. I just looked it up. You're right. They haven't had anything massively successful. And I don't mean like bad as in like necessarily bad movies, but poorly received. Like they haven't done well.
No critic success.
Right.
Yeah.
No critical success in public. The public opinion of it has been up and down, really, in terms of that.
Star Wars isn't a superhero movie.
Did you say superhero specifically?
Yeah, superhero specifically.
Yeah. But so the Russos do sort of have a little bit of work to do to rebuild their reputation. I think if they come through and they nail these movies, I think people will be fine with them. I don't think we'll hear a lot of complaints about it again. They'll be like, "Oh, they're back. The Russos are back, baby." You know.
It's like a Tom Holland situation where, like, Tom Holland, for a while, wasn't having the greatest career outside of Spider-Man, and now it looks like that might finally be changing, like with the Odyssey and a bunch of projects he's now been lining up over these last couple months, really. So, I do wish they would have had like one banger to be like, oh yeah, we can define ourselves outside of Marvel movies, because that is going to be a continuous conversation for the next 4 to 5 years going forward of like, oh yeah, they're good, but only for Avengers and blah blah blah. So
right, that makes sense.
He needs to make some more predictions of his film career. So
I forgot to send it over, Lone Wolf. I'm sorry, I completely forgot. I will make sure to send it over after this, and then Darren can talk about it later this week. I promise, I won't forget. I won't forget. Matter of fact, let me do it right now, so that way so I don't forget about it. All right, so we did mention Lobo. Yeah, we talked about Lobo briefly about the whole Jason Momoa, and I don't remember if everybody that's in the stream now was here when we talked about it, but
they tried to get him to show a picture of him in Lobo suit, Lobo makeup.
Oh yeah, well, there's been so many like fan arts of that you kind of have the idea of who.
Basically, we did get information that it's going to be full body, so it's not going to be like set. It's not going to be whatever's covered.
Lobo in the chat said, "Talked about me, maybe." Okay, so Maestro's coming after you, 3Dub. I'm going to pull this up on screen. You can choose to respond if you want to. Maestro says, so 3Dub, you're saying Iron Man 1 and 2 are different universes and the new Captain America is a different universe?
No. What I'm saying is, like, you have a stop. Superman 1, 2, and 3, and 4. That's the whole quadruple movies. And then you have a stop, and then 2006, you have Brandon Routh. I don't see Brandon Routh as Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve had his superhero movies. Once you stop, I don't see it. Because also you have the technology changing. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's got a continuity error,
right?
And the whole like.
So in your mind, you're basically talking about like the main star of the movie. If this main star of the movie changes, right? Okay, I got it.
So if Iron Man changes, he's not the same Iron Man,
right? But a supporting character, you don't care about that.
No,
right?
Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, Gwendolyn follows you. I get that. Even though this film is technically a continuation, supposedly. Got it. What about Die Hard? I don't know. What about Die Hard? What about it? Okay, so let me look at the goal. We are so close, you guys. We have 14 minutes left, and we only need one more teal super chat. One more, and we can end the poll and see what you guys voted on for the Saturday stream. So, oh, by the way, I haven't decided yet. It really depends on how things go, but I may not be live on Thursday. I might save all of the Thursday topics for Saturday, because I might not be in town. But I will let everybody know in a community post on Wednesday, one way or the other.
Another example that extremely irks me that they're saying it's in the same universe is Batman Forever and Batman and Robin are the same Batman, and they're both Michael Keaton.
You came at the right time, Darren, when he's talking about the Batman movie. So,
that's another one. I was like, you changed the main character, so I'm going to the only like one that's.
I'm assuming you've covered this on Party Nation before.
Oh, too many.
Yeah, a bunch of times. The one thing that is constantly there is Alfred.
Right.
That's the only. The butler's the only.
So Alfred is the. Has the power to travel across universes as the same character. Okay.
I'm going to say like that. When we get to Batman Forever, I'm going like that has to be a new. That has to be. I can't make him Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's my goat.
Okay,
It's more like a basis. It's like I'm biased about it. Michael Keaton is my favorite Batman. Val Kilmer, not Michael Keaton.
Okay, so what about in the context of the Arrowverse? So, like, when they recast Sarah Lance in Arrow, does Arrow Season 1 no longer become canon to the rest of the Arrowverse? What about Kate Kane, when they recast her? Does that become non-canon as well?
For me, it's more like continuity error. I shrug it off as continuity error.
Oh, so you mean like when what's her name replaced Ruby Rose in season 3? Yeah. Wait, was it season 3 or season 2?
It was season 2 that she came.
Okay, right.
The
end of season 2, like the very end of the season.
They actually, that is not considered a continuity error because they had it in the story plot to where they changed her face.
Oh, so it was the same person but different face, is what you're saying? Okay.
So that makes more sense than just.
There's a lot of rules, 3Dub. These are a lot of rules that I'm not totally sure if I can follow. So
I did go leave to watch that video just because.
Okay.
Like, all
right. So let me pull up the comment here. All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, I mean, I love Coy. I think he's like a fantastic critter. I think he knows what's up, really. And yeah, you're right. Like, he's right. Like, we live in a world where negativity rules everything we do. Like, Eric, you've talked about this hundreds of times, but like it is hard to push a positive community or a positive comment. Everyone, and I think we're all trained to do this. Like we all like reality TV. Like if those shows were happy and positive, no one would watch them. Like no one would care.
You have to have a little bit of drama. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just how our society is run to a point, which is disappointing. But I do think it is harmful for the film community in general, where you have to hate everything, or you have to either. I've talked about this a lot. Something either has to be the greatest thing ever made or the worst thing ever made, where there's all this gray area where most things land. But yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, I think a lot of people, most of the people in the chat, excuse me, my voice sounds awful. Most of the people in the chat saw that the other night, and I think you just missed it when you came back. Like you had missed the video or whatever. Anyway, all right, so there's a couple of things. So I looked online. It seems like we have a couple of trailers, I think, that came out. Ooh. So let's look at the trailers, and then we'll check back on the super chats. We're one super chat away, so we'll see if we reach that. Actually, you know what? I feel like we have to talk about the Ironheart stuff just briefly.
Yeah, I'm so sick of that.
I want to cover this only because I don't want to. Okay, let's do that first because the trailers will be a happy way to end it. I feel like we would get into like the get into the dark place with this Ironheart stuff. All right, here we go. Let's talk about this. So this is Andrew Salazar here, who I believe isn't he connected to Discussing Film? I believe he is. Isn't he? Let me double check.
I don't know.
I think he might be. Yes, yeah, he's a co-owner now of Discussing Film.
Oh wow.
Okay, all right. So they posted a new look at Ironheart, which, by the way, looks good. I still feel like Ironheart is one of the better looking promos for a Marvel TV show.
They actually have a couple new photos that came out a couple hours ago. If you
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. If you have the link, we can look at those. But all Discussing Film did the other day was they posted this picture here of Riri with the mask on and off. And it says, new look at Ironheart premiering June 24th on Disney+. Only because I don't know what's going to be in the comment section, I'm not going to scroll through it, but I can assure you it is awful. It is absolutely disgustingly awful comments about her. There are some of the most racist stuff I've seen in a long time in reference to Marvel.
Yeah.
I also want to point out, this is an original character. This isn't her as Iron Man. This isn't her replacing another white character. This is just a character from the comics who was inspired by Iron Man and wanted to make her own set of armor. She's a very smart character. She has her own backstory. I don't understand what the issue is.
And by the way, that's what they asked for, right? Their main argument for all these years has been make original characters. Don't just recast the white characters.
Right.
Okay, here it is. An original character that's not a recast.
I would argue, Darren, that the vast majority of characters created in Marvel from like 2015 on have been like pseudo-original characters.
Yeah.
And they've still rejected most of them. So it's just weird to me that this transitionary period where characters were coming in inspired by this is a character who was inspired by Tony Stark, inspired by Iron Man, and decided, I want to use my intelligence to follow in the footsteps of this other character, and created her own identity and became Ironheart. She's not an Iron Man replacement. Even if people feel like she is, she's not. She's her own character.
Never met the guy.
And you're right. They've asked for original characters. This isn't Riri Williams taking over for a white Riri Williams. This is literally the character from the comics. And so Andrew here says, I have to be honest that we were not aware of how vile and explicitly racist the replies to this post became in the last 22 hours. It's a simple new look at a show, and yet it's still got way too out of hand. Replies are now closed, and many accounts have been blocked. Let's read what else he has to say here. Discussing Film does not tolerate racism, sexism, or any kind of hate speech. Admittedly, we should have been faster with catching it on this post. This website and certain fandoms can already be so toxic, but we're going to try harder and ensure this doesn't happen. Managing an account with 2+ million followers can be tricky, but if users on this app cannot behave, then we'll have no problem closing replies on every single post related to the show. We don't want to associate Discussing Film with that kind of engagement and toxic community building. I have to say, I total respect from me for calling this out.
Yeah.
With Andrew here. He says, ultimately, we cannot promise the hate speech will never be in the Discussing Film replies. After all, look who owns this website. But what we can promise is that we'll always be there to squash it and find a way to make sure that real fans have a place to share their opinions.
Yeah.
Now, immediately, first reply, it's a free world and free speech is a thing. That's typically, no one is saying, Andrew's not saying that you can't say those things.
Saying
Andrew is right, that you shouldn't, and that it's their account. They're going to curate their account the way they want, and they don't want racism in the replies. People think free speech applies to everything when it comes to like websites and things like that. Your free speech doesn't affect me. It's not the government. Free speech, legally speaking, in the United States is government control of what you can say and what you can press, like freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. A privately owned website or a private account that wants to lock their replies or whatever they want to do, however they want to run their own page, is entirely on them. You don't get the right to come into my house and start yelling homophobic, racist slurs, bigoted stuff in my house because you have free speech. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
Do that in your own space. If this person here, am talking here, wants to say racist stuff on their account, they're totally free to do that. But what he's saying here, what Andrew is saying, is that you're not going to say it under our post. That is totally his right. That's the whole point of the block feature. It's the whole point of the
Yeah.
locked account feature. Again, I don't know why people so emotionally and passionately want to be racist. Why do you want to be those things? That's my question. What is the motivation to be those things? Why? What's the point? At a certain point, people are arguing to be able to use like the N-word under posts like this.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We talked about about a month ago, Eric, over on my thing, where I said every once in a while politics will meet the entertainment world, and this is one of those times. The world was just given a giant go-ahead to be terrible people.
Right.
There's someone that says, "Oh, you can find success in being a bigot, in being an asshole, in being a racist, homophobic fucker." That just plain simple. When I had such a pit in my stomach this morning when I saw this, or whenever it came out, and I saw the future. I did.
Yeah.
Excuse me, just 1 second. I saw the future because like, oh, this is going to be the sequel to She-Hulk. This
Right.
is going to be a project that before a trailer, before our first look, before it comes out, you're going to have 1,000 videos online saying
Right.
how it's ruined Marvel, how it's the worst thing that's been made ever. And like with She-Hulk, I think there's going like I don't agree at all. But I think deep down I can kind of understand some of the criticism for She-Hulk, right? I get that. There's nothing to criticize here. That's just a black person. The only thing you could possibly criticize is the color of her skin.
Well, because we have no context. That's the thing, is when you break it down, if you are mad at a picture of a black woman in fighting armor, and the only issue you have with it is that it's a black woman, there's no criticism there other than racism. This isn't somebody her name is not, Annie Stark. It's not like they took Tony Stark and turned him into a black woman. That's not what they did here. So you're not even criticizing that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy to me. And this is one of the times where I hate that if you would have came and visited my channel 6 years ago,
Sure.
we would have almost no reason to ever talk about politics when it comes to the stuff we're watching.
Sure.
Because it was all allegory. It was all, parallels. It was all, that was the way we talked about it, that was what we were dealing with. Now we can't even enjoy a fun TV show with a Marvel character in it without racist people coming in and being the worst versions of themselves.
Yeah. Back when Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out, there was a whole bunch of people who didn't like the themes of racism and stuff in that show because they're like, I just don't like politics in my movies. And like, I think on a basic level, I understand that. I really do.
I don't have a problem with that either. I think that's a fine statement to make. Like, I get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the big argument I kept hearing was like, well, we've moved past that. We don't need that kind of representation as much. And maybe at the time, maybe you had a leg to stand on.
Mm-hmm.
This proves you're wrong. This proves that statement was wrong. Because this proves we need more representation in every aspect. I need Hollywood to double down on everything. Because they clearly have not learned. That has not got through their head.
The problem is you can't say that we've gone past racism and then still have people doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think people truly understand. Because it looks so if you say we move past racism and people are still doing this, their response would be blaming the victims of racism. Well, it's you caused us to do this because you want to be in everything. You want to be in every movie and every TV show. So your justification for bringing racism back is because clearly, in their opinion, black people are not supposed to be in these positions. Mm-hmm. So how do we move past it? Honestly, how did we get past it? If you truly didn't care about it, why are you advocating for it now? You shouldn't be saying anything.
How many black-led Marvel movies are there? 3, maybe?
Right.
Out of almost 50?
Oh, we've gone over this. Just like with the woman-led movies, it's still not that many.
No. I mean, oh my gosh, like, I can go down the rabbit hole of, like, there's too much, like, queer rep and Disney. Name, like, 3 queer Disney movies. Name 2.
Right.
You can't do it.
I've done the done the same thing, Darren. Like, I've gone in where people have criticized this, and they'll say, oh, there are gay and trans people in everything, right?
Where?
Well, that's what I say. Name 5 things in the last decade that have done that have been major films or TV shows. Name them.
Yeah.
They never can.
Yeah.
They never can. So that's what I'm saying. Like, all of this complaining is just outrage stuff. It's just to be angry and mad and upset about stuff. That's all it is. That's all it is. Look, Paigey jokes about it, about people, whether or not people care about Ironheart or whatever. I don't know if they do or not.
Sure.
I don't really care. I think the show's already done. It's coming out. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. People are saying it's going to be the next Agatha. I've seen people saying that they believe it's got the same vibe as Agatha. I don't know if I agree with that or not. Because this show has a lot of untested stuff happening in it. But it could still actually be very good. But I believe this is one of those holdovers from the non-showrunner shows, right? Isn't this the last one?
And Eric, you just brought up a really sad point. You're right, because unfortunately I do think this is going to be one of the shows that not necessarily underperforms, but maybe does less well as an Agatha or a Daredevil or a Loki, because this isn't a well-established character. She's appeared once. She doesn't have a fan base yet.
Which is why it makes no sense to go so hard on it in the comments and calling it names and stuff like that, because why? Why? I mean, first of all, there's no excuse for racism anyway, but it's not like this is a big, huge Marvel project that's going to have a bunch of eyes on it.
But they're going to use that, and also the fact that it was part of the old regime, to be like, oh, look, it is bad. It is bad because of these reasons. It didn't do well because of, like, DEIs and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, no, it just doesn't have a fan base. That doesn't mean it's because of these things that you're saying, but that's the narrative they're going to spin.
One of the struggles I have, and we're going to move on after this because we've already talked so much about it, but I really wanted to get all that out there, and now I almost have no voice. But one of the things I will say is that there's so many times when people will tell me they have a problem with certain elements of a movie or TV show that I agree with, and I would concede that that is a problem. But then they're also like, I hate gay people in this. I hate black people in this. I hate women in this. And then it's like, how do we continue that conversation if that's your take on it?
Sure.
But where do we go from there? I don't know. Look, I'm excited to see what Ironheart's going to be. I like Riri. I like the concept of the show. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's take a look at these pictures, and then we'll watch one trailer, maybe 2 quickly. So I think this looks really good.
Yeah.
This looks like 100% finished visual effects. It looks like it's done.
Looks like a movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I like this shot here. Nothing too special. Lighting is really cool. Is this our first look at this character, the Hood?
I think so.
And do we know what character he's playing in the show?
No.
I don't think they've specified. They did say it's a one and done role, so expect him to get killed off or leave before the end of the season. Here we go again. Another shot of the armor there for Ironheart. I'm assuming we're going to see some upgrades from the beginning to the end, where she'll probably get to the suit we know more from the comic books, like the colorway of the suit, which I think is cool.
I wonder when we get a trailer for this, because it's not that far away. 2 months? 3?
Yeah. Yeah. I look, I would love to see a trailer soon, but I have a very bad sinking feeling that Disney is just hanging this out to dry, sort of like they did with Echo. I think they're just going to let it happen.
Maybe.
I would love to be wrong about that, but we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, they're putting out. They're putting out like mid-year during the summer. June is a big month for like TV shows and stuff. So yeah. I could see it. I think it really depends on how much confidence they have in it. Because if it's good, I
want to be wrong about it. I hope I am.
Do we know if it's weekly or if it's
actually, I don't know for sure. Let me. We got a super chat here. Oh wait, we actually hit the goal. Maestro here with a $5 super chat, capping off the goal for tonight. Thank you so much, Maestro. I do appreciate it. So now we'll take a look at the poll here in a second. What's your favorite Batman villain? I guess we could all answer this one if we want. I would say probably it's not Joker, that's for sure. I'm bouncing around between two different characters, but I would say one that I've always liked because I felt like it was a very good sort of juxtaposition to Batman. It's not okay, so this is kind of a cheat because it's not really a Batman villain, but he's fought Batman before. He's more of a Teen Titans villain, and that would be Deathstroke.
Yeah.
But he has fought Batman. I love his banter with Batman because they have such a good banter between the two of them because of their egos. So it's always a lot of fun. The other one I was thinking of is Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I like Mr. Freeze too. Not the movie version. Not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Freeze.
Not that one.
Chill.
So those are my two favorites. Or I guess I should say one. But those are my two favorites. 3W, do you have a favorite Batman villain?
I'm going with something that's like pretty much awesome in my opinion. Is Red Hood, Jason Todd.
Right.
Okay, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, that's a good one. Cody said it's weekly. It's a weekly release.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It goes through June 24th through July 29th. It was about a month of it.
I actually think it's ending right before or right around Fantastic Four, right?
Ooh, good question. July 29th. When does Fantastic Four come out?
I believe it's that weekend, right? It's the end of July. Might be the week before. It might be the week before that.
Give me 1 second. That's July 25th. So this comes out. Fantastic Four comes out first. So yeah,
Right.
It'll be the same week.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Darren, do you have a favorite Batman villain?
Probably Mr. Freeze.
Okay.
But I really like Clayface as well, especially in like the animated series. Like
Mm.
what they were able to do with them there was cool.
All right, so let's do the Andor trailer because a lot of people have mentioned that already. So I'm pretty sure, like, you guys don't watch Andor, right? I know 3Dub doesn't because it doesn't have Jedis in it. But
I will be. I haven't finished the previous season, but
I don't
not
know.
invested.
I will say this, that I'm hoping this one does not have copyrighted music in it like the last one did. But let's see. We're going to run straight through this. You guys know the deal. If you're watching this on playback and it's gone, it's because Disney came in and slapped my ass. All right, here we go.
I came with you to be part of something. The Empire cannot win. It's a different kind of mission.
This feels more like Andor. That first teaser did not feel like
If it
Andor
goes
to
up
me.
in flames, it will burn very brightly.
But if I'm giving up everything, I want to win. We have to. We must stand together. We will be crushed.
That's a little under a month away.
Resistance
Yeah.
is absurd.
It's a weapon. They're building a weapon. The monster will come for us all.
Revolution is not for the same. You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
There's a future here for those who dare. Welcome to the rebellion.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah, looks good to me.
That's more interesting than season 1, to be honest.
I think because season 1 was a slow burn.
It was a setup season.
Yeah. I will say this. Maybe it's just me, but Andor feels like the most adult show for Star Wars fans.
Sure.
You know, like, I mean, like the show that is less likely to have kids watching it, more likely to have your parents watching it.
I'd argue in all of Star Wars, it's probably the most serious. Like, it was. We sometimes talk about like shows or movies that are kind of very geared to try and win awards and stuff like that. And I'm not saying they made it to make awards. I think they just wanted to make a good show.
Right.
But like, this is like the Emmy show for Disney.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, you agree with needs lightsabers from
Needs Darth Vader.
It feels more like an HBO show, to be honest. I can
100%.
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
this is what I mean. I think Disney needs more of these kind of shows because they simply don't. They don't have shows like this. They don't.
I
have,
think Daredevil's a good example of the right direction for some
Sure.
of their content.
Yeah.
By the way, 2 hours tomorrow. Oh, good night, Naruto. Good to see you. We're about to wrap
Night.
up too,
Yeah.
but good to see you. 2 hours tomorrow is going to be great. Daredevil stuff. I'm excited for that. You thought I was talking about my stream? Like,
Yeah, I was like,
Well,
another
3
100
hours
days in a
for
row,
me because
okay.
I think
Yeah.
Reacher premieres tomorrow too.
Oh, does it?
Thursday.
Are
Maybe
you
Thursday.
are you worried about the 2 episodes that are dropping?
What are the titles for these? Do we know?
I don't know, but I've heard. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to ruin people's expectations, but I've heard not so great things about episode 5.
So, there hasn't been any spoilers, has there, of the episode? So, are people saying that it just doesn't fit within the vibe of the show or something? Is that what they're saying? Or
For people who've seen it early, they said it's easily the worst episode of the season.
oh, even worse than episode 3? I thought episode 3 was not great for me.
That was one of my favorites. But I just repeating what I've heard around.
Right.
Apparently, they've called it like a filler episode.
Oh,
which
okay.
isn't necessarily bad to me. Like I don't think that's a bad thing, but it just kind of throws off the vibe of the season, and that's why they're releasing 2. For that's not the episode they're leaving.
So 6 is the better episode.
Apparently, yeah. So it's like, okay, yes, this episode not as good.
Okay,
because
so
the health
I have a
effect.
question. Chat, I'm curious about your answer to this too. Do we want filler episodes back? I feel like I miss filler episodes a little bit. I like sometimes having a filler episode in a season.
I'm
Depends on the
okay
show.
with filler, but I'm not okay with whatever Eric Wallace thought up.
Here's the thing with filler. Here's the thing. Filler is great. Filler is fine if you have enough episodes to finish the story with the filler. This
Okay.
is something I dealt with The Bear last season. I thought The Bear season 3 was fantastic. It was amazing. There was quite a few kind of standalone filler, not really filler because it does a lot for the characters, but
Right.
that's separated from the main story, which is great. It was amazing, but I didn't feel like their main story had enough meat on their bones to really satisfy the
Okay.
main thing. Flash season 3 is also a great example of this. A lot of filler. They still didn't have time to actually finish the story in the way they could have.
Okay.
The way
stuff like
the way I like fillers is it has its own contained story, but it leads into the overall story.
I will say this. I'm okay with filler in the modern era if you're going to pair it off with a good episode afterwards. Like, if you're going to give us a filler episode and you feel like it's underwhelming, release 2 episodes like they're doing this week. Because they want to leave it with like a good taste in your mouth at the end of the night.
Yeah, if you have 8 episodes, I just don't think you can do filler. It's
Right.
very hard.
Yeah. Some filler I like. Okay, so a good example, and I can't believe I'm bringing this up again in 2025, but one of my favorite filler episodes was Enter Flash Time.
I was
Yeah?
about to. I knew you were going to say that.
Like, that's one of my favorite filler episodes because it worked as an individual episode.
Yeah.
Like, everything you need to know is in that episode, and I love it for that. Did it cause problems later on with the show? Yes, but we're not talking about that.
You can argue all the crossovers were mostly fillers.
When
Yeah,
they
that's
did
true.
Villain of the Week in the first season, that felt like it was filler.
Wait, when
but
what?
When they did the Villain of the Week, the Meta Human of
Oh,
the Week,
yeah.
that felt like a filler, but it wasn't really a
Well,
filler.
this is one of the issues we ran into, and Paige and I had to like come up with a different term for it. There are filler episodes, and then there's bottle episodes. So, like, a filler episode is an episode that you could just take out of the season, and it doesn't affect anything else for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
A bottle episode is a self-contained story that still has elements of the season in it. So, like, you might have Barry Allen doing a story that's completely unique to that one episode, but then while that's happening, Felicity is doing something that ties into like another episode later on. So for me, I prefer bottle episodes over filler episodes because I don't like ones that can just be subtracted from the season. But filler episodes are fine if they're done really well.
Sure.
Is the bottle episode still technically a filler?
It
No.
can be.
Well,
It
yes,
can be.
yes,
Yeah.
it can be. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
But they can be 2 separate things. But a filler episode, at its core, is an episode that you can subtract from the season and it doesn't affect
It
anything.
made me
Isn't it?
laugh for a second because it reminded me of an episode of Supergirl where it literally was titled "The Bottle Episode."
Yeah.
Well, okay, so let me give an example, an old man example of like the difference here. So back when we used to always get 23 to 24 episodes a season, back in the olden days, there was a little show called Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Good
that I
one.
used to
Good
watch.
one.
So it's a great series, but if you go on like Reddit, you can find a master list of filler episodes that you can skip so you can get through the seasons quicker. Because it probably, if you're talking about 23 episodes, surprisingly, about 45% of those are skippable episodes because they don't tie into anything else that's necessary in that season or any of Star Trek moving forward. Most seasons have that. So I'm very familiar with being able to pull episodes out of the library and just skip over them to get through your season. So
And so many shows from that era, like just because the main plot wasn't continuing, those episodes are sometimes some of the most important to set the environment and to spend time with those characters. I think Lost is a great example of this. Some of my favorite episodes of Lost are filler. There's a great episode when it's just Hurley trying to find a van. And it's like this van they're trying to find, and that's
you know what?
The best episode.
So filler episodes are really important for the. This is one of the things that I think we miss in modern shows.
Yeah,
filler episodes are important not only in canon but outside of that, like on the work side. So filler episodes in canon in the shows help, like you're saying, Darren, flesh out characters.
Yes,
Like a lot of the side characters on Arrow and Flash and Supergirl, we wouldn't know nearly as much about them if there were not filler episodes.
And I think in that regard, it's almost the closest to the comics in a way, because when in any other superhero thing outside of the CW, where you can just spend your day-to-day lives with those characters, you wake up with those characters, you go to their job, you know, they fight crime, they go home at night. You got to spend the individual lives with these characters because they have 22 episodes a season.
Yeah.
You get to go the in and outs. We're never getting that again.
Right.
No matter what we get going forward, if it's in the MCU, if it's in the DCU, I guess like Daredevil has been doing a pretty good job at trying to kind of keep that up, and in a sense, but no, for sure. Like
I don't see this actually happening in like live action TV, but if you ever do Naruto's flushed out character filler episodes, I'll be so pissed. Like
anime, look, anime has entire filler arcs. Like you'll spend a whole season as a filler, like in anime.
A whole yeah, definitely.
What are you gonna say, Darren?
I was just going to answer Darth's question. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had a lot of filler, and that's a good example. It needed to have filler. Like
Look, Lone Wolf says Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did great filler. Yeah,
they did fantastic filler, and it'd be weird if they were only on like their big bads. It's like no, they have to go solve their missions. That's their entire thing. Same thing with like stuff like a Supernatural. Like they can't always just
the first 2 seasons of Supernatural were almost all filler or bottle episodes. Like almost all.
Yeah, I agree. One Piece had acceptable filler.
Yeah,
but Naruto,
Sorry.
Go ahead, Darren.
With Supernatural, to the point, like, filler was so important, they made the series finale filler. Because that was such an integral part of their run. They had to.
Honestly, Supernatural shifted over to longer form seasons, like in the midway point, like around seasons 4, 5, and 6. So
I had a problem because of the fact that they did the fillers during the Great Ninja War. I'm like, the Ninja War is more entertaining than the freaking filler.
Okay, so speaking on the production side of filler, here's how it benefits outside of canon. Writers, directors, first-time stunt people, like those filler episodes gave a breeding ground for people new to the industry to come in and prove that they could do the job, or for some of the people on the like Grant Gustin or Tom Cavanaugh, whoever it is, working on set, a lot of times they would give them episodes that were filler to allow them to get a directing credit, to allow them to get a production credit or something like that, because they can't do that on a lot of the main episodes of the TV show. So it really does ruin a lot of jobs for up-and-coming writers, because now we don't have that anymore. The CW was massively important for early in writers and directors. So...
We're Hero, that's what we would call a procedural show, where each episode is kind of its own individual
Like
thing.
Law and Order.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So we got a super chat here from Lone Wolf. This is funny. Hot take, $5 super chat. Thank you, Lone Wolf. Hot take fights from a performance standpoint. Who do you enjoy more, Kingpin or Kilgrave?
Fights?
I guess that's just he's using that as a term. So from a performance standpoint, who do you enjoy more, Kingpin or Kilgrave? Sorry, I love hearing people debate. Let them fight. So are we talking about the MCU versions of these characters?
I think Kilgrave, personally. I think
I
Kilgrave.
think Kingpin.
Okay, here's my argument. Kingpin, or I'm sorry, Kilgrave was a one and done.
These are not the words you're looking for.
Came in and said, "Hey, I'm going to be one of the greatest villains in all of comic book spheres." Kingpin's very good, but he was also in Hawkeye. He was also in Echo, which a lot of people didn't like as much. I still enjoyed it, but I'd argue since he had less screen time, he was able to be more consistent. And also, David Tennant's like a master, like he's a masterclass actor. Like he kills that role.
This is a tough one for me. Only because Lone Wolf has picked two extremely good characters. So
Both top
it's
5
tough.
MCU villains.
I don't want to be a contrarian, so let me think out loud here for a second. I love Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. I think more often than not he kills that role, but every once in a while he does do some weak stuff, and a lot of that has to do with the saturation of the character. He's in so many different things, as Darren was saying. So you can look at some of these performances and say they're not as good as some of the others. Whereas you stick him straight in Daredevil, you're like, he almost nails it every single time in Daredevil.
Sure.
But they've tried to spread him out too thin. Also, to the comments what Darren was making about Kilgrave, performance-wise, no misses detected. Like, if you're looking at, like, overall track record, no mistakes at all the entire time in Jessica Jones. Just absolutely perfect. Also, I would argue that Kilgrave is one of the most creepy, powerfully creepy characters that we've had in the MCU. Because if it were not for the fact that he was gooning so hard over Jessica Jones, okay, if that were not happening, he could have controlled everyone in the world.
Yeah.
He was his power is so overpowered, he kneecapped himself with his goon addiction to Jessica Jones.
There are also two very different kind of performers, right? Where
Right.
like Wilson's performance is always at his best when he's yelling, he's screaming, he's giving it his all. Where David Tennant's a lot calmer. Just he could just talk soft and normal like this, and you will have chills up your spine. And like, oh, okay, yeah, like he is a threat just by his voice alone, which they do very well.
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying who do I enjoy more? That's the question. Although I think Kilgrave had more misses more hits than Kingpin did,
Okay,
I still think I enjoy Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin more.
fair enough.
I will say, like, for my favorite David Tennant project would actually be his Harry Potter version, when he was the son of one of the ministers, and he was on the side.
I
of Lord
barely
Voldemort.
remember him at all in that role, to be honest. I barely remember him.
McDuck?
It's easy to remember because he does the whole like twitch and his licking sounds.
Yeah,
that
but when
he
I
does.
think of him, that's not where my mind goes immediately. So that's like not
Not
at all.
DuckTales, not
So,
Doctor Who.
Yeah.
No, I see more intriguing roles.
Okay.
How to Train Your Dragon.
All right. We're gonna end the poll. Where is it at? Here we go. If you guys have not voted, you got a couple seconds left to vote,
As far as
And-
creepiness goes,
and we're gonna see which two of these we'll be talking about on Saturday.
Ooh.
Here we go. End the poll. Roll that beautiful bean footage. All right. So I'm gonna make sure I write these down so I don't forget them.
drum roll, please.
All right, so what do we got? What won? top 5 favorite MCU villains and top 5 favorite DC. It's supposed to be DCEU/DCU, but I couldn't fit it all in there. So let me write that in here. Let's see. Oops, hold on. Top 5 MCU, DC, EU/DCU villains. We don't have a lot to choose from the DCU because it's relatively new, but some of those crossover because of the whole James Gunn thing. All right. So those are going to be the bonus topics for Saturday, which, by the way, we had an extra topic or two that we didn't get to yesterday. So I will send... what we're going to do is we're going to take 6 of the things that are still remaining in the bonus topic to cover on Saturday. I'll send all that out to you guys in the green room. So if you guys want to jump in
and
on
Facebook.
Saturday, you can. Yes, on Facebook. So everybody knows what's going on. Anyway, with that being said, though, I think we're going to wrap up the stream. We're at the 2-hour and 32-minute mark. I'm not going to be able to speak tomorrow, so it's a good thing I'm not going to work. I'm not going to be able to talk. Anyway, thanks everybody for being here. Definitely check out 3Dub's channel and website if you want to get some content edited. I'm sure it'll take care of you. And Darren's got his stream coming up. Which one do you do on... I don't remember which one is which day.
Yeah, I have the pipeline on Thursday. We're doing we're doing Snow White this week, so if you want to hear a bunch of people talk about Snow White.
Well, are you actually... Is it that it sucked, it was shit, or is it going to be like an actual conversation?
I actually liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little too woke for me. And,
okay. Gotcha.
I actually liked it.
I did too.
I did see it.
Anyway, let's see if it works this week. Here we go. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here. And, oh, look, it worked with the button push. So it's finally working like it's supposed to. Anyway, thanks, everybody, for coming in. Make sure you check out 3Dub's channel. Also, thanks, Lance, for being here at the beginning. Sorry, I forgot about him. He's so forgettable. But head over to Geek Drums at Party Nation. And definitely check out Darren's channel. Jump into his podcast and all that stuff. Anyway, thanks everybody for being here. And we will see everyone maybe Thursday, but definitely this weekend. So anyway, take care.